Hello, everyone. It would help if we could actually see Mr. Hayhow other than his PlayStation 4 controller.
Shush.
George, Azerbaijan Grand Prix is about to get underway. Well, in about 25 minutes' time.
All right. Yeah, in about 25 minutes.
So what have you been up to? Before we get on to F1, George, what have you been up to this weekend?
I've been up to revision for the exams coming up.
Okay, you've been doing exams. What's your tip for doing exams if you're talking to other people? What's your tips?
My tips are focus on the things that you're good at first, and then focus on the things that you can use a challenge for.
Yeah, so let's move on to Formula One itself. Who do you think will win today?
Oh, confidence. Charles Leclerc has the chances. Max Verstappen does. So does Lewis Hamilton. I think Max Verstappen might win.
Verstappen.
I want Lewis Hamilton to win, but I think Max Verstappen might win.
No one could predict it, but we're just going to hear from Ferrari boss now, Mattia Binotto.
I think it will be okay, but you never know. I think we were confident in Monaco as well, and despite the confidence, we had the problem. So you never know. That's part of sport, that's mechanics. So let's see. But first corner is very short, straight, and then it will be 51 very long laps.
But do you concentrate on trying to win this race, or you concentrate on trying to get? Do you concentrate on the win of this race, or you concentrate on trying to beat the McLarens and secure the constructors for yourself?
I think that for us, what's important is to score the maximum points for the team, constructors. I think we've got the top competitions behind us and around us in the constructors. So again, for us, it's showing progress, it's showing that solid this weekend. And again, I think it will be great to have good results and good points.
Dick, best of luck this afternoon. We appreciate it. Yeah, as you're saying, it's great, isn't it, to see two red cars up there.
So it's great to see a Ferrari on pole again, isn't it, George?
Yeah, it really is.
Valtteri Bottas, had a disaster in qualifying, and he only managed to get 10th fastest. Lewis, so we're just going to have a chat with Lewis now, actually.
Oh, Lewis himself?
It's been painful for the past 2 weeks. It doesn't matter how many years you've been racing, it's always painful losing and then really trying to figure out, coming in hopeful that we're going to be on the right foot, and then again struggling all day Friday, even Saturday morning. We're out of the top 10, and we're missing at least a second, if not more. And it's just grip. It's just grip potential, and it's a hot day, so you're like, how comes the tires aren't working? And these cars are just operating in such a tiny window, and we weren't there. But we managed to, through really hard, conversations and some real risk taking when we got into P3, got a sense of a possible direction. I took that direction, and it worked.
It's an interesting way of saying there that the cars only operate in that very small window around here. We're not quite sure. George Russell had a moment on his way to the grid, but he has made it to the grid. How long we got? 22 minutes? Yes, 12:38. So 22 minutes. The race gets underway at 4 o'clock local time, 1 o'clock UK time, and we'll be racing for the streets of Baku, the old town. We had 4 red flags in yesterday's qualifying sessions. We're going to get probably a safety car at some point today. So
yeah, we've already had a lot of safety cars.
What did you say, George?
We've had a lot of safety cars, haven't we?
We've had a lot this season, yeah.
One sec.
Yeah, we just we're just seeing Lewis now standing by the side of the grid, gathering his thoughts before they make their way to the front, to the start-finish line for the national anthems and the end racism message. George, you watch many football matches. How important do you think the end racism message is?
I think they're very important.
Because we've seen many famous footballers, especially get like racist slurs online, especially like Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, Carl Walker, just to
I
name a
know.
few.
All of them are just getting very disrespected ever since the Bulgarian match.
Yeah, you're right. And obviously we've got England later on today, and then we go
Yeah,
into Euros
it's-
next week.
Yeah, why do you think I had this on?
Yeah, we go to Euros next Friday.
No, it's
Hopefully we won't.
No. Well, sorry about that. England plays on Sunday. My bad. Yeah, it starts on Friday.
Hopefully we won't get any racist slurs, but we're just gonna
No,
hand
knowing
it back
England.
over to Baku for the end racism message.
Yeah, I've seen England fans before. I've seen them. They're not racist.
We race to compete.
On the tracks, in the pits, as a sport.
What-
But we all race for something bigger.
It's time to race for equality. It's time we race for sustainability.
It's time we race to be global citizens.
It's time we race for equal access, opportunities, and representation.
Because sport can change the world, but it's up to us to make sure that change is for the better.
United, we are stronger.
Change starts with you. It needs to come from your heart. Keep working, keep learning, keep on understanding. We have a platform to shift change, starting little by little. Boy or girl, man or women, united for the same causes.
We have the opportunity to spread the right message.
If we all pull together, every single person has responsibility.
The best example is our own example.
We need to be responsible in what kind of mark we leave.
We don't have all the answers yet, but we can help find them.
Change starts here. We race.
We race.
We race.
We race.
We race as one.
Message to say, and it's time for the gesture. Some strong words on the front of Lewis's t-shirt will breathe the same air. Let's fight the same fight.
Always a touching moment there where sport pauses to take the knee, but we're now going to hear the national anthem of Azerbaijan.
Sounds good.
Johnny has joined us at the front of the grid. Nice to see the
Very soon anyway, we're just going to let the drivers walk, but now it is the national anthem of Azerbaijan.
Azeri national anthem. We just must bring it today. Formula One has lost a couple of key characters in the last 2
And
weeks.
before
Sad news.
we just observed that national anthem, we're going to bring you some very sad news, unfortunately. The former McLaren owner, he has died sadly at the age of 68. That news came in just a few minutes ago. Max Mosley, and we're going to observe a minute silence. A touching moment there as Formula One fell silent. The only time a racetrack falls silent. But now we're going to hear the national anthem of Azerbaijan.
Can't wait for that.
Please be upstanding for the national anthem of the Republic of Azerbaijan.
There we go, the national anthem of Azerbaijan. That was a great one, wasn't it, George?
I liked that. I really liked it.
The national anthem of Azerbaijan being belted out in the capital city of Baku, where we're racing this afternoon, around the streets of Baku. But we're just gonna I think we're gonna. So we just heard. No, I thought we'd heard something there, but we hadn't. As the drivers, they're going to make their way back to their cars now in around 15 minutes' time. We'll be back for the formation lap. Lewis Hamilton, company second in the Drivers' Championship, the first time he hadn't led it. We're going to hear from Lando Norris right now.
Oh, podium typical, but no, we have a strong car, you know. Should be sixth on the grid, but even with that, the possibility to have been higher yesterday. So I have a good car, I think. If I can put it all together with some good driving, some good strategy, look after the tyres and so on, then we have a good chance to score some good points.
Have you done any extra work with your engineers? I've been seeing a lot of other drivers because they know that there is a great opportunity to get a great result. Done a little bit more work trying to get the best out of yourself in the car?
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one, and where it can very easily go wrong here is with incidents just getting caught up with the narrow streets of Baku and the walls. You know, easy to outbrake yourself, easy to have a little walk up, like we saw yesterday in qualifying. So, trying to stay out of trouble, that's rule number one. And just being there, you know, that the last few laps is when everything can happen. So, the standard stuff.
Thanks for stopping by. That's it today, Lando. Let's get a text.
So,
we're just seeing some of the drivers.
Yeah, it is important today to keep out those barriers, George. They are waiting for you very much. It's not like Monaco. You can overtake. You know, we didn't see a huge amount of overtakes at Monaco, but I think we will see overtakes here. Definitely, we probably may see some overtakes go very wrong indeed. Hopefully, we will get through that first lap, okay, but it's gonna be a tight squeeze for our cars especially as they head up that section of track, George. That is just 7 meters wide.
That's not much meters.
Pardon?
It's not really much meters. Not really enough for social distancing, so you have to stay 2 meters away.
Maybe you could fit 3 people in there if you tried social distancing. You can only just about fit one F1 car through there at once. Just over 10 minutes.
I'd say so.
Until the lights up. But George, what do you think of Lando Norris picking up a 3-place grid penalty for an infringement at the red flag procedure?
Oh, I don't know what I think about that.
He accelerated under a red flag, which is obviously not allowed, and he missed the.
That's not allowed, yeah.
And he missed the pit lane as well. He went straight past the pit lane, which is obviously not allowed either. Let's just read some of your comments. Remember, you can tag us #Azerbaijan GP.
There's no comments.
No, I'm using online, George, social media. They've sent us on social media. Formula One put on the grid full side of in remembrance of Max Mosley and Mansour Ohai, who very sadly died just about an hour ago. Alpine F1 put pre-grid proceedings are underway. Yes, they are. Let's see. Parked up for the hashtag Azerbaijan GP. Mercedes put that on their social media. They tagged us to that as well. Parked for now. We know VB is at hashtag AMG ready. The Mercedes drivers and go boys. Valtteri, show us what you've got. They're saying best of luck, VB. Let's go. Let's go, team. There's a lot of let's go, team. The fans really getting behind Mercedes this afternoon as Ferrari and Alfa Romeo. What are they? Vamo Toho. I have no idea what that means. I think that means thank you, Antonio, or go, Antonio. I'm not quite sure. Steady Danny Rick. As the Aussie did go wide at turn 16 on his way to the grid, but fortunately he managed to keep it out. The fearsome Azerbaijan barriers that do not move if you hit them. Seriously wondering if Daniel Ricciardo has got personal stuff going on again, like at the start of his time with Renault. His mind definitely doesn't seem to be on the job, and even in interviews, he's now not the Daniel we know. I think it's because of the wind, but yeah, well, it could be because of the wind. The wind is very high today, and that will really affect the cars, George, because they will get and we will see a lot of spins today. I think we will see a lot of cars have to take the runoff area. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see a car put it in the barriers, but we're going to go for a quick break. And when we come back, it'll be the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
A break? Why are we on a break?
For those of you watching F1 on Sky Q, the Sky Race
The most legendary battle between pushing each other up to the last race. Take a look around me. Taking pages from a magazine.
lights out, away we go.
Hamilton is fourth point and he's lost a little bit of body weight. Yes, you know what truth can be a weapon. To fight this world of ill intention.
Verstappen goes into turn one, ahead of Hamilton. Here comes Hamilton.
They're starting to understand how good Lewis Hamilton is.
We're gonna be legends. Charge is complete. Lewis Hamilton strengthens his grip at the top. Max Verstappen leads the World Championship. Leclerc on pole, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen pushing in hard behind. And we're all set for an absolutely epic race here in Baku.
Hello everyone, welcome along to Baku. We're at the City of Wind and the City of Fire this weekend for the Formula 1 2021 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're not that far away now from the lights out. Round 6 of the 2021 FIA Formula 1 World Championship. Baku is located 28 metres, 92 feet below sea level, making it the lowest lying capital city and the lowest F1 circuit. This circuit is one of the 6 anti-clockwise tracks on this year's F1 calendar, along with Imola, Austin, Interlagos, Jeddah, and Yas Marina. Let's take a look at our circuit then. 6.003 kilometers, 3.73 miles. 364 kilometers is the top speed, 209 miles an hour. 20 turns to race that record, 1:43.0. Charles Leclerc set that in 2019. Let's go back to turn 1 then, 2018, Ricciardo against Verstappen. That ended up in tears. Well, we see that again this afternoon. Turn 2 then, teammates colliding. Sergio Perez and Ocon in 2017, eliminating both of them out of the race. That brought out the red flags. That was one of the last red flags we had before 2020. Turn 8 then, Charles Leclerc put it straight in the barriers and blew his chance of getting on pole for the 2019 race. Then the tyres we have this weekend, the C4, the C5, the C4 and the C3. That is the softest of the Pirelli range. The C5 being the soft, the C4 being the medium, and the C3 being the hard, meaning the hard George Hayhow will go the longest distance into the race. But let's take a look at our starting grid. For the second time, Charles Leclerc will start on pole. This time he will actually make it. Lewis Hamilton starts second with his title rival Max Verstappen in third. He's joined by Frenchman Pierre Gasly, who had a great qualifying in fourth. Carlos Sainz, who crashed out of Q3, starts fifth, alongside Sergio Perez in sixth. Yuki Tsunoda made his first Q3 appearance. He starts seventh, alongside veteran Fernando Alonso in eighth. Lando Norris starts ninth with that penalty, alongside Valtteri Bottas in 10th. Sebastian Vettel missed out on Q3. He starts 11th, along with Esteban Ocon in 12th. Daniel Ricciardo starts 13th, with Kimi Raikkonen in 14th. George Russell just making it through to Q3, starts on the same row as his teammate in 15th. He's joined by Nicholas Latifi in 16th. Then we have the two Hasses of Schumacher and Mazepin, 17th and 18th. 19th, we have Stroll, and 20th, we have Giovinazzi, who both set no time in qualifying because they crashed out at the beginning of the Q1 session. But Valtteri Bottas has then more laps in Baku than any other current F1 driver. George is going to have to do a lot of overtaking if he wants to lead any laps today, starting in 10th.
Exactly. It has to take a lot of hard work to get that high up.
He will. Ferrari fans, wherever we go, F1's just put their awesome Ferrari fans and Tifosi are out in force, even though this is a behind closed doors event this weekend. And if you're in an apartment here, then you're more than welcome to come and watch the race. You just can't sit in the grandstands. They're lining the streets, but no grandstands this afternoon. It is literally only standing entry only. You've got to be quite sneaky to get into the circuit, but I can tell you, some people have managed to do it. Charles Leclerc, who starts first, scored his first F1 career points in Baku when he finished sixth for Sauber in 2018. He had the heartbreak when he put it in the wall in 2019 in qualifying, which cost him pole position and maybe a race victory as well. We've got two lights at the front then, which means we are about to get underway for the formation that when one light will come on at the gantry, and then the lights will go out and the formation that will go on the way. The cars will arrive back on the grid. We get the green flag on the back. The 5 lights will come on, and when they go out, we'll be racing in Baku. Right then, the formation lap is on the way as the clock ticks. 4 o'clock local time, 1 o'clock UK time, and we get on the way for the formation now. George,
Yeah.
if there was any message to your viewers, someone stopped on the grid, it's a Haas of Schumacher, but it's got going again. George, if there was any message to the viewers right now, what would it be?
Any message?
Any message. Say anything to the viewers.
Please like and subscribe to Jack Coach's channel. And what if you're not like and subscribing? What are you doing? What exactly are you doing with your life? Go like and subscribe.
That's the correct one, George. That's the one I was looking for. Also, some people say they don't have a YouTube account. George, it's simple enough to create a YouTube account. All you have to do, sign up. It's completely free.
Get your parents' permission as well.
Completely free.
Get your parents' permission as well, kids.
And the other message I will say is hold on tight, hold your hats, strap your seatbelt in, and don't go anywhere for the next 2 hours because, do you know what, George? We might be virtually on a roller coaster at Thorpe Park Resort this afternoon.
How?
I think this race might give us a roller coaster of emotions. As
Like stealth?
Go on, you go, George.
Like stealth, because you know it zooms up quite quickly. I'm pretty sure the Mercedes cars could go a bit faster than stealth, can't it?
Stealth accelerates the speed of a Formula 1 car, 0 to 80. Well, just on a Formula 1 car is slightly quicker, but stealth goes 0 to 80 in under 2 seconds, about 1.8 seconds, which is incredibly fast. The Formula 1 does about 0 to 80 in under a second. Miles an hour, 0 to 80 miles an hour in under a second. Right, as they come through turn 16 and they come and turn 17, 18, 19 and 20, the final S's on the on the circuit. Then it's a really long straight. We get any safety cars, which I fear we might do this afternoon. They're going to go right to the safety car line, which isn't the pit entry, like it used to be last time. It is the start-finish line. That is the safety car line where they will go racing again if we get a safety car this afternoon. I'm sure we might get one at some point, George.
Yeah, we might as well get one at some point.
Right. Here we go. Time to hold your breath as the Ferrari mechanics, look very nervous. They're actually shaking as the cars weave their way down the grid. Charles Leclerc backing them up as much as possible. He doesn't want to be sitting on that grid. We've been watching F2 this weekend. They've had absolute carnage as well. Formula 1 is not going to be any different. If we get all 20 cars round the first lap, I'll be very, very surprised indeed. Right, Lewis Hamilton lines up. Charles Leclerc's already in his grid position as the final cars make their way round that final little corner then. Giovinazzi and Stroll are on the back row as the midfield pull into their position. They're revving their engines, they're revving their tyres, they're trying to get as much temperature as they can. Then even I'm excited and even I'm shaking and I'm not even one of the drivers. That's how exciting and nerve-wracking it is. Right, and Stroll and then Giovinazzi pull into position, followed by the medical car. We're getting the green flag at the back. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights in Baku. And it's go. Who gets messed up? Charles Leclerc doesn't. And Hamilton and Verstappen are going to go side by side. Does anyone send it? They're going 3 wide into turn 1 with Valtteri Bottas. Somehow they've made it all through. There's a lock-up from the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. He manages to keep it out the barriers. So far, it's so good coming out of turn 2 and on to turn 3 they go. So far, Charles Leclerc leads from Lewis Hamilton. And is that Sergio Perez going to go round the outside of Pierre Gasly at turn 3? What a lovely move that was from Sergio Perez. So they've managed to keep it out the barriers in the first few corners, George.
Wow. Just keep it in. Just keep it in. That's what you have to do.
Oh, and there's an Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel getting very close. And there's a McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo off the road as well at turn start at turn 5. The two McLarens are going wheel to wheel into turn 7. They can't quite do it. The Alfa Romeo's going for it. And it's all chaos as they go into the castle section. Somehow they're going side by side into turn 7. No, that's never going to work. And they all bowed out. But somehow they made it all through. So it's Gasly. Did Gasly get overtaken by Sainz on the first lap into turn 15 for the first time? Gasly got overtaken by Perez on the first lap and he's down in 5th. So it's Leclerc from Hamilton, from Verstappen, from Perez, from Gasly rounds out the top 5. But that was a hectic start, George.
Wow, it really is, because you made it sound like a hectic start with your action.
Yeah, it was. Right, Hamilton's going to get a decent slipstream going down the straight, but he's just that little bit too far back to Charles Leclerc. Is that someone coming into the pits? It might be someone. As Esteban Ocon and Russell's come into the pits, I'm wondering if he picked up damage. As the two McLarens are going to fight it. Daniel Ricciardo goes down the inside on Lando Norris into turn 2 as Hamilton has a look on Leclerc into turn 3. And George Russell is in. I wonder what happened to him. He's in the pits and he's come back out. Let's have a look at that start again. Maybe that's a strategy to run the hard compound tyre to the end of the race. Right. The front 3 all very well behaved. Someone locks up at the back and there's an Aston Martin of Lance Stroll going very wide indeed. And Valtteri Bottas gets all in the mix of it. Carlos Sainz locks both of his front right tyres up into turn 2, but he manages to somehow keep it out the barriers. Let's have a look at Lance Stroll then. Stroll, does he make contact with Mazepin? Yes, he does. They make contact going into turn 1. Is that Mazepin? No, it's Schumacher. Yeah, it is. I think it is Mazepin. No, it's Schumacher, sorry, Mick Schumacher. And he made contact going into turn 1. They're both going. But the front 3, all separated by 1.3 seconds. Hamilton's half a second behind Charles Leclerc. And is he going to get the slipstream down the straight? Leclerc is weaving. And the end of this lap, DRS will be enabled. Hamilton's gaining on Leclerc. He's gaining on Leclerc. He's going past Leclerc. And he's taken the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But is Leclerc going to come back? Leclerc's going to hang it round the outside at turn 1, but he can't quite do it. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But they're all going to get the slipstream. Hamilton's now the one that's going to be struggling because he's not going to have the DRS, which should be enabled very, very soon, I feel. Let's see. They're quite spread out now. Let's have a look at that. Did Leclerc? Oh, Verstappen cut the corner. There's debris on the track. A fallen branch or something. Is that damaged? Verstappen's run over some debris. Has that damaged his front wing? I think we'd probably need a virtual safety car or a full safety car to get that cleared. But we will wait and see as they head round to that part of the track again. If they might have got it cleared. But we'll have a look as to see whether that branch is still there on the track as they come. No, the marshals have done a good job and managed to get it cleared. But Verstappen definitely run over that, George. Has he damaged his car? George is on mute in a moment.
What was the question?
Verstappen's just run over some debris on the track. Has it damaged the underside of his car? We have to wait and see.
If it's damaged, if he's damaged something,
right.
Most likely he'll get something damaged.
On Charles Leclerc into the first corner. Verstappen's going to think about it. They can't quite do it. And he just doesn't have enough straight. Another couple of meters of straight there to been alongside Charles Leclerc. But he's going to get another go with DRS into turn 3. Here we go then. But crucially, Leclerc has got DRS as well. Hamilton's the one that's now going to be in trouble because he doesn't have DRS. Verstappen thinks about it on the clerk, but doesn't quite do it. Into the left-hander at turn 3 and the right-hander at turn 4. Ocon's coming to the pits. What's happened to Ocon? Is he coming in for a pit stop? No. Esteban Ocon is out of the race, unfortunately. And that is our first retirement of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Esteban Ocon is out, unfortunately, George.
Oh dear, that's not good.
I wonder what's happened to him, but he's Alpine. He's getting... Let's have a look again.
Formula 1's been crazy this year. So many crashes.
Oh, the engine's gone, George. He's saying no power. There's a puff of smoke and the engine's gone. He's managed to get it back to the pit lane. Right, here we go again then. Onto the start-finish straight. They're just making their way through the S's. So far, no yellow flags. Oh, now I say that. Now there's a yellow flag. Of course, it had to be then, didn't it, George? But the green flag is clear. The track is clear. I wonder if someone had a little moment. It was sector 3, so I wonder if someone went for little spinners. Hamilton sets the fastest lap. Verstappen's gaining on the clerk again, but he just can't do it into turn 1. All of the top 3 again separated by under 1.3 seconds.
Oh, that's quite some time.
But Verstappen, George, has just got to keep it cool and calm on the track as the clerk gets DRS again. Crucially, gets DRS again. What's happened to Bottas? He's still in 11th. He hasn't been able to make as many overtakes as we could. He's really falling behind his Valtteri Bottas. He's really not liking at the moment as Hamilton, still leads the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. On lap 5 of 51 then. And how far into this race can we go without, well, we've already had one retirement, Esteban Ocon. That was a no power. Let's see as we go into the castle section who's going to be on top coming out of it. You can't overtake into this section, George.
No, he really can't.
So, right, through the turn 13 and 14 into turn 15, the track temperature is dropping because we're going into the Azerbaijani evening now. Norris Radio. And Lando Norris saying that overtaking. Oh, is Hamilton going to be in trouble here because Leclerc and Verstappen both have DRS? Who's going to make the move? Is Verstappen going to try it on Leclerc? No. But Verstappen's done the fastest lap. They are oh so close, all separated by under a second here. Hamilton controlling the race, but he can't pull away from the DRS zone. They're charging at him again down into turn 3. Can they make a move? Can Verstappen make a move on Charles Leclerc? No, he's just that little bit too far back. Hamilton's really good, George, in that final sector, which at the moment seems to be saving him. So,
yeah.
Here we go. It's going to be shaping into quite a good race, but Lewis Hamilton is still leading it somehow as they go through the tight, twisty castle section once more. That section is just about keeping it out of the barriers, really. Over the finish line, Mazepin was 8th on the Aramco track speed detection things, whatever you call them, speed traps. And is that? Yeah, I mean, Mercedes would need to be active. Sergio Perez came in now. Lewis Hamilton definitely have to pit because otherwise Perez would cover him off and do the undercut, I fear. So who's going to roll the dice?
Oh, no one knows who's going to roll the dice. Well, I could if I could go fetch a dice.
Leclerc doesn't have DRS. Verstappen is really close now. Verstappen is going to go to the outside at turn 1 and goes into second place. Right, it's a straight fight now, George, between Verstappen and Hamilton, because Verstappen has moved up to second. But is the Leclerc going to get DRS again down to turn 3? We'll have to see. Verstappen doesn't have DRS. Leclerc does. To turn 3 then. Let's see. Is the Leclerc going to be too far back? Yeah, just about. He just didn't have enough. So Hamilton's really got to put away now. Let's see how Verstappen got past. He does it actually before the braking zone with the helping of DRS. But Verstappen up to second here. But can he chase down Lewis Hamilton? We have to wait and see, because Hamilton's putting the gap now out in front. But Hamilton's just on a purple sector 1. Then
Absolutely. You know that you just got a bit of a pacey advantage over Ferrari. Yeah, it could take things a bit easier. Can't do that.
So the Ferrari's falling back now, and it's falling into the path of Sergio Perez. Definitely that Ferrari is struggling to hold on. The Ferrari that was on pole is now all the way down in third, George.
Yeah.
Hamilton radio, let's have a listen.
Oh, I think I smell my barbecue cooking for this afternoon.
So Hamilton said it's on the nose with his balance. Is he struggling a bit? Oh, is Sergio Perez going to go past Charles Leclerc? Yes, he is. Perez up into third position and the fastest lap as well from Sergio Perez. So we have to, as Vettel gets past Alonso down. No, what's happened to Alonso? He's falling. Alonso's in the pits. So hopefully that's a tyre change. Norris is also in the pits. Norris is a tyre change. Is Alonso a tyre change? Yes, it is. So Norris and both Alonso falling down, but crucially, Alonso has come out ahead. No, he hasn't come out ahead of Mazepin. He's come down behind Mazepin and ahead of Lando Norris, who also came into the pits that time around on lap 8 of this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's a risky strategy because they've got to go a long way into this race, George. Oh, Hamilton almost loses it. Hamilton almost loses it in the castle section. Nothing, not where you want to lose the car. He manages to just keep it out the concrete walls. And
well, that's a good thing.
What did you say, George?
Well, that's a good thing if he manages to keep it out.
Yes. Sonoda and Sebastian Vettel. Go on, George.
Oh, no, yeah. I wasn't saying anything. You go.
So, Sonoda and Sebastian Vettel are now getting cozy. But Verstappen is still without DRS on Lewis Hamilton, despite Hamilton reporting that he's having problems. Right, is there any battles further back? No, they're quite spread out at the moment. We'll have to just wait and see what is. They come down what normally is the bus lane in Azerbaijan, but is a start-finish straight for these 3 days. Team radio for the club.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out.
So the clerk's been told he's going to plan A. Who knows what plan A is? Ferrari seems to have plan Z as well at some tracks. They really do prepare for absolutely everything, Ferrari, as Schumacher also comes into the pits. So Hamilton leads from a second, so it really isn't that far to go until Verstappen will be in DRS range of Hamilton. He might even be able to do it this time around on the straight as they head through turn 15 is he might just be a tenth short as they head over the detection zone. No, he won't have DRS down the straight.
It says Hamilton's up in first.
Sonoda radio.
Oh, Hamilton moved up into first. I must have not been paying attention.
So everyone's being told to push flat out. Is the Ferrari coming in? The Ferrari shoulder clerk, I think, came into the pits. Yes, it did. The clerk's in. The clerks rolled the dice here. And they lasted 9 laps before they wanted to get rid of those soft tyres and put the hards on. And I think they will probably go to the end of the race. It's a nice stop for Ferrari. Is that Yuki Tsunoda in as well? Yes, it is. Tsunoda's in.
Yeah, let's just hope a tire doesn't get stuck. Let's just hope a tire doesn't get stuck again.
Hopefully it doesn't when Mercedes come in. Yeah,
No,
we'll be
that
hot.
was just Bottas, not Hamilton.
It is. Mazepin's come in. The Tiffy's in. There's so many different strategies going on this afternoon, George.
Yeah.
So Perez has pulled half a second. Let's have a look at the clerk again. As he comes up a bit.
Oh, that was close.
That was close to going over the pit lane exit line as well.
Yeah, I love it when they do the races in the streets or the cities.
It is, yes. So pit window powered by AWS. If you're on the soft compound tyres, does say that the pit window is now open. So we will, at some point in the next few laps, I'd say, see the leaders come in. We've had no safety cars yet, though, George.
No, none yet. Oh, hopefully they don't come up soon. Not trying to jinx it. Just hope they don't come up.
So Verstappen doesn't get DRS again. Will Mercedes bring Lewis Hamilton in as Perez does the fastest lap? It's like Hamilton radio. It's like two horses against one at the moment with the two Red Bulls against one Mercedes. As Carlos Sainz comes in, nice stop from the Ferrari crew, 2.4 seconds. He's going to come back out in 10th place. The Red Bull and Max Verstappen did pick up 11th place, sorry, for Carlos Sainz. Did pick up a bit of a slipstream. He picked up about 4 tenths. So have a look at Lando Norris. What happens to him? Does he get past Fernando Alonso? Yes, he does. Good move from Lando Norris there. Van the outside at turn 1. Gasly's in as well. I would have a feeling that Mercedes or Red Bull are going to roll the dice pretty soon.
But if they want to, Valtteri and Bottas needs to catch up because he's behind Vettel and Gasly. Then it'll be game on between them both.
It will, but Bottas is yet to pit. We just remind them of that. Bottas in 6th is yet to pit. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. That would attract the attention of the teams. Has Sainz gone down the escape road? Yes, he has. He's gone off into the runoff area, but he's destroyed his tyres. Oh! And as he comes back on, who was that? Almost ploughed straight into the back of him. Has someone else gone off as well? Because there's still... No, he's going to be straight back into the pits. Mercedes out in the pits. For Lewis Hamilton then. It's a slow stop, George. He had to wait 4.5 seconds. Was it Pierre Gasly? That could cost Lewis Hamilton as Bottas comes in as well. Mercedes double stacking. Bottas had a slow stop, 2.7 seconds. That was all right. But Hamilton lost about 2 seconds in that stop. And he's going to come out in 4th. Red Bull will have to pit as Norris goes wide and almost into the barriers as well.
Oh no, look how far down Bottas is, all the way to 11th. Well, here's the thing. Perez, Vettel, and Verstappen still need to go into their pit at some point. So if they go into their pit, Hamilton might be able to catch up.
Yeah,
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Let's have a look what happened to Carlos Sainz in the castle section. He just locks up and goes straight on.
Huh, I wonder what happened there.
Just didn't have the grip.
They've got seamless shift F1 cars, but not seamless when it's going into reverse. With Max Verstappen quickest of anyone.
As Verstappen's quickest of anyone. Is he coming in? He's staying to the left-hand side. Verstappen's in. Verstappen's coming in. Is Sergio Perez coming in? No. Perez is staying out. Right. Where's Hamilton? He's 21 seconds behind. It's a good stop from Red Bull.
Hamilton's taking his chances to catch back up.
Verstappen's going to be out. Ahead 1.9 seconds. Verstappen is going to take the lead on the Azerbaijan Grand Prix this afternoon. And by quite a comfortable margin as Hamilton comes around turn one. Verstappen is in the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix through the pit stops.
What? But Perez is in the lead by first place.
But if Perez, let's have a look at Hamilton's stop again then. So yeah, he does just have to wait for Gasly, and that cost him about 2 seconds. Hamilton radio.
Interest, I hadn't noticed before, but Red Bull were in the pit lane. I wonder if Mercedes reacted to that and pulled Hamilton in a bit earlier than they wanted. But very good reaction by Hamilton. You can see the traffic light stayed red to hold him. If he had went, that would have obviously incurred a penalty.
Good reaction from Lewis though. The traffic light did stay red, and he managed to not come out in front of Pierre Gasly. Sergio Perez could come in and come out in the lead of this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He's coming in. He's coming in. Let's see where Sergio Perez comes out. Verstappen coming through turn 17 now. Verstappen makes his way down the straight. It's a slow start from Red Bull. It's a 4.3 seconds. And Vettel's gone by. Vettel in the Aston Martin's leading this race. Verstappen goes, well, where's Hamilton? Hamilton's going to come out behind Sergio Perez as well. So Hamilton comes out behind both Red Bulls.
Wow, he's not far away from them, is he?
Hamilton's going to get DRS though. Into turn 3. Hamilton is going to go for the move, but he can't quite do it.
As his thing lights up, there's a spark.
But is Perez going to be vulnerable at the end of the lap as Raikkonen pits as well? He's come out in 15th. So the first round of pit stops this afternoon is done and dusted. But Verstappen has a 7-second lead over Lewis Hamilton. The Sergio Perez weaves. But Vettel is the current leader. But Verstappen is the net leader. Perez has got really good speed this afternoon. And let's see if Sebastian Vettel goes into turn 15 and into turn 16. Will he pit this week? This time around, sorry. Let's see.
In second place in this race.
Yeah, so just give you an idea, Hamilton's 4 tenths off Perez on this lap alone.
So Hamilton 4 tenths off Perez. Vettel is going to stay out.
Perez in the background, Hamilton very close behind.
So Hamilton's very close behind. Is he going to get DRSs, Lewis Hamilton? Yes, it is. It might not be this straight. It might be the straight after. Hamilton has to think about it, but doesn't try it. Into turn 1. He's going to try it again. Into turn 3. He's got this short blast to turn 2. Right now he's going to get the DRS again, but Perez is lightning fast through that first sector.
Hamilton really needs to speed up his game if he wants to.
Hamilton radio.
Right.
Hamilton saying he's so much faster already. Verstappen. Oh, and Hamilton almost loses it again. The rear end of that Mercedes is twitching like crazy this afternoon. Well, at least they haven't had a sticky wheel nut this afternoon, George. That didn't like to come off.
He's going to say it's come off.
So Vettel has the lead of this race by 3.5 seconds, but he's yet to pit. Fastest sector for Sergio Perez in sector 1, who's putting away from Lewis Hamilton. Could Sergio Perez win this race?
Well, his chances aren't slim. He's not that far away.
If there's one thing that we've learned from Lewis Hamilton, he never gives up and could come good towards the end of this race. Lance Stroll in 5th, he's yet to stop. Pierre Gasly stopped his run in 6th. Right, is Stroll the Aston Martins? Hamilton saying he's got so much rear end as Perez goes faster again that lap.
He really, really needs to step up his game. He's only 1 second. Well, he's only 1 second away from Perez.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously every potential of getting a safety car period around here. It's a street track. As Ricciardo gets past Alonso, Hamilton was over a second slower than Perez on that last lap alone.
Wow, that's not far off.
So we've only lost one car from this race at the moment, and that is Esteban Ocon. Right, let's have a look at Daniel Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso. Ricciardo gets past Fernando Alonso into turn 1. He's done that Ricciardo radio.
That's nicely and successfully.
Nicely and successfully. They're helping the DRS and maybe the overtake button as well.
Well,
so far, George, no cars in the barriers.
Yeah.
I think it was all getting a bit too close to get Perez the protection from Hamilton. You're going to have to press on and just worry about if the cars.
I think Verstappen's been told to hurry up.
Potentially difficult start to his Aston Martin career. I thought drove a splendid race in Monaco.
Fastest sector again for Max Verstappen this time. Verstappen does the fastest lap, so but Hamilton's just on the fastest lap now, George.
Oh. Well, there's a new fastest lap every single time.
Vettel radio. Vettel saying it's all good. It's Vettel hoping for a safety car period. Maybe if we get one. Right, who's this? Is this Carlos Sainz with DRS going chasing down Antonio Giovinazzi? It is. Is Giovinazzi going to defend? No, Sainz doesn't really make the effort for the overtake. So Hamilton's now back within DRS range of Sergio Perez. He's it would have been. Would it have been DRS towards turn 3? It probably would have been. Carlos Sainz still can't get past Antonio Giovinazzi. An intriguing an entertaining Azerbaijan Grand Prix this afternoon, George.
It really is entertaining.
So everyone has pitted other than the 2 Aston Martins.
Really?
that potential is always there. Lap after
Well, one of the Aston Martins is out, to be fair.
Yeah, we've had at least a virtual safety car or a full safety car in every single Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Oh,
But
he has an
Hamilton does
advantage
get
to open
DRS.
up gap, but wasn't really going to try it.
He still gets 5/10 without DRS coming down that straight.
But he still gets that crucial slipstream, which probably gains him about 5/10, I'd say, down the straight. Now he's got DRS.
Again.
He thinks about it, does Lewis Hamilton, but he's just that little bit too far back. Hamilton was 23 hundredths of a second slower on that last lap.
Comes into race spec, somehow it becomes alive, and Hamilton extracts what he can out of it.
That Mercedes isn't so good in qualifying, but when they put that race fuel in it and the race spec, they load it up for the race, it does come into its own a bit. But it's not really. It's doing all right this afternoon, but it's not doing hugely all right. This could go on for a fair few laps, couldn't it, George?
Yeah.
Just separated. Hamilton's 1.2 seconds behind Sergio now. It's kind of one of those races where it's going to build up and then the last 5 laps going to be go. Verstappen radio. So Verstappen's been told to look after that right rear because he's struggling. And Vettel, at long last, comes into the pits. And Verstappen takes the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix on the track now. Oh, he locks up as he comes into the pit lane as well. Oh, and Hamilton thought about it into turn 1, but he didn't quite do it. He's going to be really close, though, going towards turn 3. DRS open. Can Hamilton do it this time? No, that the pace of that Red Bull on the straight is just Hamilton again pulls out, thinks of it, but just doesn't quite want to take that risk, George.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he is quite far away. If he'd gotten closer, he would have made it.
So Vettel comes out in 7th. Yeah, Vettel comes out in 7th. He's made a lot of places up.
Well, that makes our leader, Verstappen, 2nd place, Perez, and Hamilton's back in 3rd. With the Red Bulls leading now, but the Mercedes team is quite low down due to Bottas's 10th place, 1 second behind Norris. And Hamilton still on DRS, I think.
He just has drivability, especially at the end of the lap, which gets him close to that.
As Vettel goes into the castle section.
Very close to Charles Leclerc on much younger tyres. Well, this is it.
Hamilton's one that dropped right back. He's 1.5 seconds now behind Sergio Perez. I think it probably will happen, that overtake, at some point, George.
Yeah.
They've got a new power unit this weekend of Mercedes. It's about DRS though, but he's going to get that slipstream. He's trying to pick up the toe. He picked up a bit of a toe. It's 8 tenths, isn't it? 9 tenths is the gap. He get DRS going into turn 3, but he just doesn't.
He's just not quite there.
He's just never quite close enough, is he?
He needs to come in closer. That's what he needs to do.
Is he tyre saving? Maybe. All right, we got the double box. We got the double box now on the screen. We're going to have a look. Is that Carlos Sainz trying to chase down Giovinazzi? Is he going to go for it into turn 1?
No, he's not.
Perez saying Hamilton is flying on the straights. But crucially, he just cannot get that overtake done yet, can he?
No, he's closing in, but he's just not. He's just not accurate enough.
No, I mean, Hamilton's saying he can get close, but he just cannot get close enough. Verstappen would extend his championship lead by 10 points. Well, 9 points, so if it remained this way. Extend Hamilton radio now. He's saying it's impossible to keep up in the middle sector. Again, Hamilton is out of DRS on that straight. And it is going to... Sector 2, Hamilton lost half a second in Sector 2. He's going to get a slipstream down the straight is Lewis Hamilton. Perez did a great job of holding up Lewis Hamilton for Max Verstappen, though, George.
Oh, okay.
Right, we've got the double box again as Valtteri Bottas closes down on Lando Norris. Valtteri Bottas thinks about the move at turn 1, but he just can't quite do it. He's still stuck in 10th places, Valtteri Bottas, having an absolute mare this weekend. So he's still
spending way too much time for his own good, he'd say, stuck behind the rear wing of that Red Bull.
Top 3 cars 10.5 away from each other. Not very much in that 21 over 51 lap Grand Prix. That's absolutely fantastic.
The top 3 cars about 10th and a half away from each other in terms of lap times. Could be Perez's first podium as a Red Bull driver this afternoon.
Led 2 of the 6 races this season from start to finish.
Remember, you can join the conversation using the hashtag Azerbaijan GP. The Ferrari has fallen back and is currently running in 6th place. We haven't had the usual carnage that we get, but it's an intriguing race. Fastest sector 4, Max Verstappen again in sector 2 that time. Hamilton again without DRS. He's dropping back now, but he's going to get 45.7 for the Red Bulls, 45.8 for Lewis. So the Mercedes is losing out in that castle section, that second sector. Right, let's have a look with Valtteri Bottas. He's going to try again. Bottas radio. Oh, he still can't get through. Can he, George? Valtteri Bottas?
No. The only hope that I think Hamilton needs is if Perez could just take a pit stop.
Hamilton needs someone to crash and a safety car to be brought out. That's what Hamilton needs.
I know.
Which there's still 30 laps left, so we're not even halfway through this race yet. So obviously absolutely everything is possible.
No, Verstappen doesn't have to worry much. He's already up in front a lot.
Has Hamilton just dropped back to call his tyres, call the car, and then he go again maybe?
I don't know. But if he wants to catch up, then he really needs to think.
But it will wear your tyres if you follow the car for a certain length of time. So kind of understandable as to why Lewis has dropped back a bit. And will he come good at the end of the race? Lance Stroll, by the way, in 4th, hasn't stopped yet. Vettel's catching Leclerc, actually, who started this race on pole, don't forget. Right, let's follow this battle again. Valtteri Bottas and Lando Norris. Bottas still looks quite a long way back to make an overtake. Let's have a look as we go into turn 1. No, he just can't do it. He's far too far back. He can't even think about a move from Valtteri Bottas. So I have no idea what is happening to Valtteri Bottas, but he just doesn't have the pace, does he, George?
No.
And they're saying, oh, and who's that? Is that Carlos Sainz thinking about a move on Antonio Giovinazzi. Is he going to go for it into turn 2? No, I'm sure he'll go for it into turn 3. They almost made contact though into turn 1. Right, it's Italian driver versus Italian team. Sainz is going to go to the outside at turn 3. Sainz to the outside. Oh,
he's taking over.
But Sainz manages to do it. But that was centimetres away, George, from contact.
Yeah, it was.
Let's have a look at that again. That was centimetres away. Look at this, centimetres. Whoa, one touch is straight in the wall there. Right. The front 3 very much spread out as Perez does the fastest lap. There's a yellow flag out there in sector 3, but the track is now clear. Is it around? I think it was around turn 16. So someone went in Hamilton radio.
So this is not Hamilton dropping back to.
Hamilton saying he's losing ground, so it's not him dropping back. Does he pit again? Does he roll the dice, Lewis Hamilton, and try it? I don't know. Mercedes have got nothing to lose here, George. They'd probably effectively have a free pit stop in about 10 laps time for Lewis Hamilton. So they could pit and try and do the charge of what they did in Spain.
Yeah.
Verstappen radio. 14 points would be the gap at the top of the championship if it stays as it is. But equally, if you're Lewis, do you let the Red Bulls fight it out and hope that they collide? I don't know. Perez isn't.
He's experiencing life at the front, and he's really enjoying life at the front at the moment.
Perez isn't really getting. Let's have a look at Valtteri Bottas. Oh, it was Valtteri Bottas who went off at turn 16. He locks up and he just goes wide. Thankfully, there's a slight bit of runoff area there that you can use. There's a yellow flag again in sectors 1 and 2 where they're coming up. Oh, and no, that's Nikita Mazepin reversing onto the track. Where was that? Was that turn 4? That was a bit of a heart-in-mouth moment because the leaders were coming round as he was reversing onto the track. That's not what you like to see.
No, it really isn't.
Hamilton doesn't, Verstappen, sorry, just got to keep it on the road now. But I think Hamilton will come into this. Let's have a look at what Nikita Mazepin did as he had a Mazepin moment. He locks up and bows out of it just in time. Some people getting a good view of what happened there with Nikita Mazepin.
If you've got an apartment that overlooks the track, you've got a very good view indeed. Top 3 have pitted. The one person who hasn't pitted so far.
Top 3 have pitted. The one person who hasn't pitted is Lance Stroll. Verstappen is going to get DRS here, I think, with Nikita Mazepin. Yes, he is. And Mazepin is going to pull nicely to the right-hand side. We know Nikita Mazepin doesn't like doing that, but he has done it this time against his will.
Yeah.
The strategy for a street circuit.
Hamilton's playing games. He's playing games, Crofty. He's just managed to match the Red Bulls.
Is Hamilton playing games, George? He's just managed to match both Red Bulls that time.
He really is playing around if he's all the way back there. He really is. I'm sorry. He can't keep up, so there's no way he is playing around.
Working out in terms of the win, Ted, for you.
What are you talking
Don't-
about? Where would be the fun of pitting Lance Stroll now, not under a safety car that's going to cost you 25 seconds?
I'm saying they could.
When you can wait to be
I mean,
inevitable
like-
safety car, but surely it's going to happen, isn't it?
We said that in Monaco. We didn't even get a yellow flag.
Well, Nikita Mazepin almost caused a safety car just then, didn't he? But he recovered well.
It's
But yeah, that's clearly what they're
Aston Martin is still out there with Lance Stroll. Vettel came in, but Lance Stroll has stayed out. 26 or 51 down then in terms of laps as Verstappen goes into turn 15. What's his exit speed for Sergio Perez? He's having at turn 15, turn 16. So for Verstappen, it was 125.5 kilometers now, 119.4 kilometers now. So Sergio Perez clearly slower there. And Verstappen has got a nice 5-second gap now and a 7-second gap to Lewis Hamilton, and Verstappen is just on the fastest lap. But Nikita Mazepin is not going to get out of the way for Lewis Hamilton this time. Has he been compromised? Now he's getting the blue flags, but Nikita Mazepin is not moving out of the way here, and he's ignoring blue flags. Now he moves out of the way. Hamilton's going to try and get the toe. He is going to get the toe, and he's going to get helping a DRS as well into turn 3. Right, we've got the double box window again because Sainz is closing down on Alonso. That's the battle for 12th. He's going to get a lovely slipstream. He's going to get DRS as well. Oh no! It cut off just as the overtake, but Carlos Sainz got through anyway. Considering Carlos Sainz, George, had such a good qualifying, he doesn't really want to be sitting down in 12th and out of the points right now, does he?
There is just no room for error, like you would have in some of the new tracks as well with the extra tarmac runoff. But Fernando Alonso being very kind to him, letting him get on with this race.
Alonso being very kind and just kind of letting him sail through, not really putting up a fight, is Fernando Alonso. Right, Verstappen through the final corners now.
Experiencing a loss of power, retiring from this race. The only car that's retired.
Verstappen staying to the left-hand side, but he pulls over now to the right to avoid the pit lane entry. What's Verstappen's time going to be? He doesn't set a new fastest lap. Hamilton 2.2 seconds behind Sergio Perez.
From his teammate Sergio Perez, the gap between Verstappen and Hamilton now 8 seconds.
The gap between Verstappen and Hamilton now 8 seconds. Hamilton, Charlie, really needs a safety car.
Oh, I'm Charlie, am I? Okay. I'll be Charlie for the day. Yeah, I was just about to say, I'll be Charlie for the day. Anyways, yeah, he really does.
He's slowly bringing him in, and his engineer's been talking
Right.
about Gasly as well. So Vettel's driving a great race.
Vettel's driving a really good race. He's slowly reeling in Charles Leclerc. He's 1.1 seconds behind is Sebastian Vettel. When is that move going to be possible? Lance Stroll is still out there on these hard tyres, driving a good race as well. See, he crashed out in qualifying and started 19th, so to be up in 4th, but hasn't pitted yet. He has touched with the wall, I see. Lance Stroll did touch with the wall because some of the paint marks on his tyres are gone. So I think Stroll's definitely hit the wall somewhere.
But they've only got a brand new set of hard tires available to put on that car versus Verstappen and Perez have got a brand new set of mediums. So you throw a punch, I can throw a punch harder back. And that's kind of how it's going to
Bottas radio.
Yeah, so you're going to have to do something about it, but that.
I mean, Valtteri's been told if we don't overtake, we're finishing 10th or 9th.
If Mercedes did Hamilton, he'd probably come out behind Sebastian Vettel, and his pace at the moment is not really enough to get past Vettel very quickly.
I mean,
Andy's struggling to overtake. He can't follow close enough in the mid-sector when he needs to get close enough.
So
Hamilton's struggling to follow close enough in that middle sector.
Lewis will question him on at the end of the race, and they will present the evidence to him to say this is why we couldn't risk it, Lewis.
That's it. A long way to go. I think Hamilton, from what I can tell down here, is just taking it easy, biding his time, and let's see what happens later on in the race.
I mean, we've still got, what is it, 22 laps to go. Norris has dropped Bottas, but Bottas, but Bottas is being told to reel it in and get a move on the Staffen radio.
No real change in win max. Tailwind still at 4, 15, 16, so maximum concentration in those ones.
Right, that one there. Going wrong.
So the tailwind is still at that 10-15 section. Turn 16, sorry.
It was in turn 16 points. A steep drop down to turn 16, which for the tailwind
Turn
is not
15,
really what you want as a driver.
No, but it funnels all the walls as well, doesn't it? But how can they tell that's happening? Because of the pitos. That silver thing you can see just popping up where the top speed is on the car. You can see the little silver thing, and that pito will register how much airflow is coming in, and that's all the instruments they've got back at base to tell them.
So it would be equally, you look, George, at Spain just a few weeks ago, we were saying Mercedes masterclassed it. They've had a couple of off races. I think considering where they were on Friday, they haven't had a bad race so far today. I don't really want to jinx anything. They had a good day yesterday, I thought, Mercedes. They just got compromised by that pit stop. Right. Vettel.
Or need to come in the pit again, so the Gasly's not going to hold him up.
If Hamilton pitted, I think that's the car that Red Bull would throw.
Yeah.
They would just have to look ahead, maybe not worry about what Perez is going to do.
So what's
Perez is going to go on, and of course, team tactics, they could swap it around if they wanted to.
Vettel would. Vettel's battle for fifth. That's Gasly, Leclerc, and Vettel. This could get tight, and Tsunoda will be joining that party as well. It's a bit of a non-action race at the moment, but obviously anything can happen, really.
I'm not sure which one extracted the most out of the lap, to be perfectly honest. And they're getting on with their job. I mean, Leclerc will be disappointed. He's been beaten by AlphaTauri so far in this race, but Leclerc will never give up, and that's what I love about this race as well. You know, you make one mistake, the DRS is punished massively. You have to go spin as that car stands on the low pedal there.
Gasly radio. Oh no! Pierre Gasly saying he's losing power, George.
That's not good.
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh no! That's a horrible accident, and that is going to certainly be a safety car now.
Oh, that's what Hamilton needed, I think, to take over Perez.
George, safety car it. Come on, safety car it. No safety car yet, but there's going to have to be. Pit lane's closed, George. Safety car deployed as well.
Does that mean they're going to have to go on to
the... Safety car. Now safety car. That's a horrible accident, George.
That really
We're hoping on Stroll's all right. We haven't heard any information yet, so we will race control. Pit lane closed. Lance Stroll staying in the car, Charlie. That's a George, sorry. That's a horrible accident. Oh dear. He's gone off, Charlie, at the fastest. George, sorry. He's moving around. That's great to see. He's gone off, George, at the fastest section of the track. You don't like to see accidents like that. That is a horrible, horrible crash. Has he had a tyre failure, George? Has he had a puncture?
I don't know.
Oh, that's going to have to be. That might even have to be a red flag. You know.
I'm going to be wary of that at the end of the Grand Prix. I wouldn't expect the barriers are damaged. I wouldn't expect it would be the red flag.
I mean,
because there are concrete walls around here, but while the pit shot, that is going to crunch the field up.
the pit shot. We might need a red flag, George, to clean up that debris.
Well, this is where if you've got fresher tyres, you might just benefit at the restart. Let's have a look and see what happened to Lance.
Right, let's have a look. Oh, the tyre failed, George, and he went straight into the barriers. And the tyre's gone, and oh dear, oh, that's a crash and a half. That is the Stroll Radio.
Whoa, that's a serious crash.
That's the
How'd
worst
that
place.
happen? Let's see how that happens.
They just tyre fouls and he's
wheel.
straight into the barriers.
He must have lost control of the wheel.
No, he's tyres fouled, George. Tyre fouled. Definitely tyre. He's picked up a puncture. All the tyres fouled at the rear, but that's a nasty crash.
That is very bad. Thankfully,
Gasly
Gasly avoided it. Thankfully, Gasly avoided it.
Medical car deployed, Charlie, but George, sorry.
You really, yeah, it's just Charlie's on almost every stream, and so, yeah, guys, you can call me Charlie if you want to. I don't mind. Jack calls me Charlie now all the time.
Right, you can join, whilst we're in this break, you can join the conversation, hashtag Azerbaijan. Go on, Prix.
Lance Stroll's out now.
Yeah, I can imagine George is going to have to go to the medical centre. I did say we would get a safety car at some point, though, didn't I, George?
And I thought a crash would happen. A crash has happened every Formula One race.
Yeah, he's a second retirement.
Why? What was the most serious crash you've ever seen?
Oh, I'm not sure. Probably Roman Grosjean last year, Jules Bianchi, but that's...
Oh, yeah, because his car split in half and caught on fire.
That's quite a serious one, as his dad checks that he's all right. But
oh, that's his dad?
He will be summoned to the medical centre for a checkup as well. Let's have a look at it again.
I think he loses control of the wheel.
Oh.
Yeah, he loses control of the wheel, then no, he loses control of the steering wheel, then the wheels go loony.
Yeah. And he's trying desperately, George, to stop it from going into the middle of the track, because look, you can see it's gone, and it just goes 90 degrees into the barriers. Lucky it doesn't flip over as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't flip over from that crash.
Safety tests and the FIA go through, and the structure's did exactly what it should have done.
I mean, the crash structure's done exactly what it should, but we'll have to... Oh.
Yeah, so I was listening to it, watching it unfold actually as soon as I
I mean, no, it almost goes back. It almost, because it's still in drive, George. It almost goes straight back across the track. He does well to get it out of drive. He's talking now, and he's out of the car, and that's good. That's good news. He's back at the garage.
Saying that it's likely to be a very long safety car period here.
So they're saying, George, Vettel is saying it will be a very long safety car, but do you know what, George? If I was race control, I'd throw the red flag now just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, me too. Just throw the red flag.
Because there's a lot of debris on the track down at that, and that's a high-speed section. You don't want to be going off there. We've just seen one car go off there.
5 seconds or so.
Yeah.
Hamilton has now disappeared as well.
Right, but it's coming to Lewis Hamilton's favour very much George.
Because his tyres get to cool down a bit.
Yeah. The gap's closed, and I can imagine they will reopen the pit lane to let everyone pit.
And then Lewis Hamilton might have to change his wheels to a medium.
As Michael Massey's looking at what to do
My
now.
advice to Hamilton would be, when he goes in the pit stop, change his tyres to medium.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, by the time they open the pits, everyone is all bunched together, of course, and you're going to be starting right at the back.
And I mentioned set fresh soft tires, Crofty. I think
I mean, they're coming down to the section where the crash site is now.
Has he got the pace to start clearing enough cars? We've got 51 laps of this race.
Hamilton Radio. So Hamilton's saying he's going to pit. There's some. Didn't they seem? Can't see. Let's have a look and see where the debris is on the track. It's mainly over to the left-hand side. They've done a pretty good job of sweeping it up already. It is now just getting that car clear. We should be okay to do this on the safety car. But as we know, George, safety cars can sometimes bring safety cars. Because the restart is going to be Hamilton Radio again. So Hamilton's saying we don't want to lose positions, but equally there's a ton of wear on his tyres as well.
Before we go racing again. At the moment, we're behind the safety car. 11 laps of the safety car and a red flag here in 2017. We have 13 laps behind Bert Miner in 2018. Anthony, to you.
Yeah, just to join in
Quite
the entire chat with Barcelona, I think
quite a long safety car at the moment. We're just waiting to get. Yeah, it's just whether they have to track sweep it, whether they have to get the track sweepers out as well and sweep up the debris, or whether they can use their brooms and get it done. But maybe the FIA obviously have all the cameras. Hamilton Radio again.
We've seen that before.
Hamilton's saying restart's going to be difficult, but everyone's in the same position. Yeah, it is going to be difficult, isn't it, George? Especially for Max Verstappen, who everyone's going to have that slipstream on him.
I said it with the track over range as well. It's one of the things around here. And because they're on the hardest compound,
let's see.
What the life's good for. When the gauge wears off, you just lose the bulk temperature, you lose the operating window, and it takes a bit of time to catch up where it needs to be.
As Carlos Sainz found out when he went on at turn 8.
So that was on new tyres as well. That was fresh new tyres.
So it's a little more difficult when and if we
it's
behind the safety car. But now, Ted Kravitz, the pit lane has been opened.
So
the
pit lane has been open now. So this is going to be interesting to see who decides. Yeah, pit lane entry open. This is going to be interesting to see who decides to come in.
Interestingly, with the mechanics, I think that's probably just their modus operandi. That's just what.
So who's going to be coming in?
They all go out there because they're expecting to be called in. But how salivating must be the opportunity for Mercedes to use this fresh, new, hard tyre? That's the thing. They've got this nice new hard tyre.
So does everyone stay out? That car's may now overtake the safety car. So Mazepin is now being allowed to overtake.
All the way down to 18th.
Yet, I hear Fernando Alonso's going to put a soft tyre on.
Fernando Alonso's coming in. Fernando Alonso's going to play the game. Everyone else is going to stay out as Nikita Mazepin unlaps himself.
Ready as well. But Alonso's going to go for the soft tyre. It depends also how well your car runs for long distances on the soft tyre. And
Right. So, who's in? Alonso's in. Russell's in. Schumacher's in. Giovinazzi's in. And the pit lane, Charlie, is becoming a very busy.
Yeah, it's very busy. And yeah, he's called me Charlie again. Well, there's the new thing. It's Charlie.
Oh dear. What's happened to Mick Schumacher?
Oh no. I think he lost power.
Safety car's ending.
Well,
Has one of the wheels not been put on? Has the wheel not been done? Has it now clear racing to resume at the end of this lap?
Then Hamilton might have his chance to catch up. Or Hazard's thing.
Yeah, I don't think his tyre was on right. Here we go. This restart, George, is going to be like the first lap. Let's see what happened to Schumacher first, though. Yeah, just this off, isn't it? There you can see it's off.
The left one, I think.
It looked like it was all on, because they released it.
It looks like it was all on, but it is off, clearly. Right. Safety car ending as they come down towards turn 15 and 16. The safety car lights will go out now. That gives the indication to Verstappen to back everyone up. At the end of a long safety car, we are going to go racing once more at Baku then. Verstappen radio.
You don't want to go too early here because whilst the car behind
you don't want to go too early, George, because they're going to get that slipstream. When is Verstappen going to go? The safety car line is the start-finish line. That's officially when we are back green flag racing then. Verstappen is still weaving them away. Hamilton's not weaving. He is ready to floor it. He's going to try and get as close to Vettel as they can. Right. When's Verstappen going to go? We're coming up to the safety car line now. He's going to have to go soon. When does Verstappen floor it? When does he go? He's going to stay as he can. They're almost at the safety car line. Now he goes. And as they're going to benefit him or his teammate, as Hamilton's going to try the outside at Sergio Perez. Yuki's
doesn't work. Of course it doesn't
and they just
work.
about all make it through the first corner. Vettel gets past them. Oh, there's shoulder clag. Oh, how did they not crash there as they went into turn 2?
That is a lucky call.
Hamilton and Vettel's going to try the outside. Hamilton's going to try the outside at turn 3. Vettel's going to go around the outside at turn 3. Is he? No. How did they not crash there, George?
Oh, what a surprise. They were very close to each other. I really thought they would crash.
Bottas has got past Ricciardo as well for good measure. No, Ricciardo's got back past Bottas now. Bottas is out of the points at the moment. And Verstappen's pulled a really good gap. They're still weaving to get tyre temperature. Bottas has fallen all the way down to 12, 13. What has happened to Valtteri Bottas? So Verstappen's pulled a 2.5 second gap already. Then it's Perez from Hamilton, from Gasly, from Vettel as well. Vettel could potentially get 4th place. That would be Aston Martin's best ever finish in Formula 1 then. So, right, here goes Vettel again. Vettel's going to try it on Pierre Gasly. He's not going to have DRS. He's going to have the slipstream down the straight. Vettel goes into 4th place, but there's going to be more action towards the back. Oh, the camera's cut away again. Did everyone make it through? Yes, I think they did. I think Carlos Sainz has got past Daniel. He's still going to stay ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Yes.
freshness that he's got this tyres that we see that battle resumed in the closing stages here.
Well, we've got a bit of history around here. It would have been the favour of what happened back to them, and they had that big safety car.
Let's have a look at the safety car restart. Gasly knocks up, almost goes into the back of Lewis Hamilton. That gives Sebastian Vettel the option to go up the inside of Charles Leclerc. And Leclerc does a double lock up and almost goes straight into the back of the Aston Martin.
He is going to be going to the dentist, I think, tomorrow morning. That's the big
check those fillings, Charles. Yeah, that's going to be great.
I have to say, Vettel shocked me.
Gasly radio.
Well, we can't read that out because we
No.
language.
Let's see how Raikkonen got past Bottas. He went up the inside at turn 7, was that? Yes. 2 fins. Going for it.
Between Verstappen and Perez, you can see that Sebastian Vettel has 7 laps freshness on his tyres.
So Sebastian Vettel, George, has 7 laps fresher tyres than Lewis Hamilton at the moment. Vettel could put Hamilton under pressure, and I don't know what could.
Well, I only think it can happen in Formula 1.
Someone's locked up. They must have just kicked out the wall, but there's a puff of smoke. I think it was from Pierre Gasly. He must have locked up. It looks like these tyres. So they make their way down towards turn 3. On the next lap, DRS will be enabled then. They haven't really been able to enjoy it on the main straight as yet, the safety car restart, but they will. They will get one now. But he's not falling down behind George, but he's keeping there, isn't he? He's keeping within the time. Look at that cameraman doing a bit of action shots through the walls of the castle there.
A long time ago. We've
lost 2 from this race. Ocon and Stroll. Stroll, who had the tyre failure and went straight into the barriers at the fastest part of the track. That would have been a very painful one for Lance Stroll. That happened just a few laps ago, and that brought out the safety car. Then. Right, Hamilton's going to get DRS now. And is he going to be close enough to Sergio Perez to win the line? Joel, he tries it, but he doesn't quite.
Doesn't make it.
It's going to be up towards turn 3, isn't it, George?
Yeah, he just can't quite make it.
Bottas has dropped to 14. Russell gets past his teammate Nicholas Latifi. Perez has the horsepower to keep Lewis behind.
To go progressive, consistent lap time. So what you'll have to do is resettle himself, charge up a bit more.
He's got to resettle himself, Lewis, now, charge up and go again. He was half a second quicker last time around, was Lewis Hamilton. Is it hammer time now, George?
I'm not sure.
Verstappen set to 1. Hamilton going through the castle section now. This is where he's struggling. This is where he is losing time. He does now have the fastest lap, and that's an extra point. How is that? Who's that? Giovinazzi getting past Valtteri Bottas. I have no idea what is happening to Valtteri Bottas, but he is having a disaster
He's got the big wing on the back. He's got
at the moment.
straight, so you need to give him the extra grip at the restart.
Look how far Sergio Perez is.
Sergio Perez has pulled a gap on Hamilton as Verstappen steals the fastest lap. Hamilton didn't get DRS that time.
By the time they reached the line, further back to
But Gasly has DRS on Charles Leclerc, but he can't quite do it. But
versus Hamilton's 46-0. So Hamilton's going to go all in on a lap. He's going to be vulnerable the next lap to that Aston Martin, and it's got the same engine. We know that Mercedes, when it picks up a slipstream, it goes like stink on the straight. Well, that's equal because he's got equal engine and kind of an equal package.
Don't discount out Sebastian Vettel from the podium at this.
I mean, I won't count out discount Sebastian Vettel from getting
out in front. Verstappen continues to lead. We are on lap 40.
I wouldn't count out Sebastian Vettel potentially getting a podium here as well.
Yeah.
As they settle back into the groove once more. Verstappen fastest in sector 1 once more.
Bearing down in the past. Fernando Alonso is getting onto Daniel Ricciardo's tail as well in the battle for
let's have a
this race, and we can head down to 10 rounds.
Okay, I've asked the guys from Pirelli what's the danger of the people who have had the hard tyre on since what, lap 12, something like that, probably. Yeah, and going to the end, they would have done many more laps than
St George, the thing is,
by the end of the race. What's the danger of their hard tyres? And they seem to be not concerned about it, and that's reinforced by the people who did stop under the safety car. The teams are having a look at their hard tyres, and they're not seeing any issues to be worried about.
Thing is, George, Lance Stroll crashed on the hard tyres. Tyre failure, it was. The cars running the hard tyres will be slightly concerned that that might happen to them as well.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's looking like it is pointing towards debris because all the teams, the Pirelli guys, are telling their teams that they haven't seen any problems on the tyres that have come off.
It looks like it is pointing towards that Lance Stroll won over some debris, and that put him in the barriers, unfortunately, for Lance Stroll.
Copy that. Ted, I don't know how they discovered whether it's or anything else. They should stay in the tyre, they get it back. I know, but they piece it up together. It's like an aircraft accident. They tend to try and piece it back together. And sometimes they can see there's a sharp incision, like cut in a
But yeah,
so another 10 laps, I think.
10 laps to go, yeah. Sebastian Vettel's last 15, 13 from 5th in Monaco. Sebastian Vettel's last results. He's currently 4th at the moment, maybe on course to even get a podium finish as well. Could be see Let's have a look at Hamilton's speed then. Exit speed, 242.2 kilometers an hour. Verstappen, who crashed in FP3 yesterday, struggled in qualifying, but looks like he is in dreamland. He's in cloud 9 at the moment. There's 10 laps to go then.
And the first time out in 2016, sits in 4th.
Around so we got, who's that? Is that Lando Norris closing down on Gasly? Yes, it is, but Norris can't quite do it. Vettel was a 10.5 quicker than Lewis Hamilton on that last lap. Hamilton is really, really struggling at the moment. Remember, you can vote for your driver of the day, f1.com/vote. Hamilton radio again.
If you understood that radio message, sent Paul and I a little message, that sounded like Lewis Hamilton not exactly impressed.
Hamilton saying he can't get any closer. Vettel is winning the driver of the day poll at the moment with 34% of the votes. For Sebastian Vettel.
Yes, Lewis just saying he can't get any closer. I think he's just struggling to get
As they head through that castle section then. Nice radio. Norris saying he's getting a lot of vibrations. I guess that would be the front right tyre. If that fails, then hopefully it doesn't. That's for sure. But there will be some sort of debris on the track where Lance Stroll hit the barriers for sure. Norris is gaining on Gasly though, but he can't quite get past Pierre Gasly.
Just ahead of these two, Charles Leclerc, who seems to have got around some of his earlier problems after the safety car restart. Started on pole, currently running in 6th place. Pierre Gasly looks comfortable in 5th as it stands at the moment. Tsunoda not very comfortable. Lando Norris.
Gasly looks comfortable in 5th. Tsunoda Norris is chasing and doesn't look so comfortable sitting in 7th place.
This has been such a change for Yuki Tsunoda in this race. He spent the whole of last week back at the factory, back at AlphaTauri's factory, working with the engineers on understanding the car, working on the sim as well, and trying to find a way.
Yuki Tsunoda spent all of last week at the factory and working with the engineers at AlphaTauri.
Disappointed after that penalty he picked up the red flag infringement yesterday because he's so good. He just confronted a gang and
so far, we haven't had any major pile-ups other than that Lance Stroll crash, which was obviously a tyre failure. George, what's there? 8 laps to go. Absolutely anything can happen.
Yeah, I think anything can happen at this rate, even though there's just about, I don't know, a couple laps left. Anything can happen.
8 laps to go. As Hamilton does fastest lap.
Luckily for them, of course, they didn't follow many cars for many seasons in this turbo
yeah.
But yeah, he didn't.
Jack, I have to go now. I need to have my lunch.
Okay.
See you later.
It's going to be, sorry, George just had to go, but it's going to, once the gap, Bottas and Russell are now fighting. We all know what happened last time. Those two came close together.
Really surprised that Lewis got fastest up in that last time. I was watching his onboard just as you guys were talking about it, and he almost lost it and crashed in turn 16. He lost the rear, he went all over the curve and thought, he might be threatened by metal here down the straight, just as you were talking about.
We're hearing that Hamilton had a moment at 16, almost put it in the barriers. We'll have to see a replay of that at some point, hopefully.
Again, some snaps on the exit of turn 12. I don't know what that right rear's done to him today, but he doesn't like it.
He keeps getting snaps on the exit, and those right-handers effectively.
Both McLaren drivers have been pushed by ex-Spanish McLaren drivers.
Both McLaren drivers are being pushed by the ex-Spanish McLaren drivers, really. Would that be Sainz and Alonso, both McLaren's being pushed by him as Verstappen, steals the fastest lap away from Lewis Hamilton and does a 1:44.4. But Hamilton's closed down on Sergio Perez.
Co-owner of the McLaren Group, the McLaren Racing Team, sadly passing away at the age of 68. It's been a very tough day for that McLaren team, Paul, for everyone that knew him, including, of course, yourself.
An absolute character in the paddock. I don't think there's anybody who could say an absolute bad word about what a lovely family they were. Such a key figure within McLaren, how they developed their success.
We have to see the gap. 1.1 seconds is the gap between Perez and Hamilton. As Schumacher's in the pits. What's happened to Schumacher? Is Schumacher out of it? That's what I'm wondering.
Total inspiration. Don't take our word for it. Ask anyone.
We have no, Schumacher's back out. Drivers' Championship, as it stands, Verstappen would have a 15-point lead over Lewis Hamilton at the top of the championship. But obviously, we are going to go to Mercedes tracks at some point. They don't like the street tracks, the Mercedes cars. So Mercedes will come good. It will rocket at some point. But that Red Bull really does suit the street tracks. Obviously, our next street track isn't until Jeddah by the end of the season. So fastest sector for Verstappen again.
I don't want to jinx it, but he's been an absolute in a world of his own, hasn't he? I think he's just done exactly what Lewis does in normal Grand Prix.
And Mazepin's now in the pit, so both Hasses pitting again.
I can tell you the guy that's going to sit the best tonight if he finishes second, and that's Sergio Perez, because he's had to work at it. Because you can hear Hamilton when he's on the radio, he's pumping. Perez has been absolutely solid as well.
5 laps to go. Verstappen's got a 5-second lead out in front.
At the end of this race, we see Kimi Räikkönen just behind Fernando Alonso, and they're trying to make moves.
Let's see what goes on in these final few moments of the race. Then let's have a look. Tyre Performance graphics powered by AWS say that Hamilton has more tyre life over Sergio Perez, which is interesting. With Hamilton saying he's struggling more with his tyres than Perez is Hamilton going to come back into playing this?
We don't actually know until the cars stop and they do this great to see exactly what condition they're in.
Sergio Perez has been having to push just a little bit too hard, maybe. He loves to preserve those tyres.
Hamilton has older tyres.
We saw Valtteri Bottas overtake Lance Stroll on the line.
That's for sure.
Back in 2017, I think it was, for second place. It can go right down to
as we've seen in 2017. Oh, it's Max Verstappen! Verstappen's crashed on the straight. Max Verstappen is out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Sergio Perez takes the lead, but Max Verstappen is out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Oh my word, what drama here in Baku this afternoon. Oh my word. Max Verstappen is out. Verstappen has crashed. Oh my word. It's a left rear tyre failure. It's still no safety car yet. Thankfully he's out, but the left rear tyre failure again. But Verstappen is out. This Azerbaijan Grand Prix has been turned on its head. We're still on the yellow flag. No safety car yet. Track hazard. I would think that would have to be a safety car.
Finishing behind the safety car, which will take the cars through the pit lane because of the debris on that main.
Look at that radio. Safety car now. As Verstappen kicks his car, but Max Verstappen is out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and this World Championship has just been turned on its head. Oh my word. Let's have a look again. Oh yeah, it just goes. Oh, it's pretty much the same as Lance Stroll, but just a bit further on, and the other side.
It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable, Crofty.
Pirelli have gone one step softer with the tyre compounds.
It's not acceptable for tyres to be failing like this, 2 in a race as well.
Soft, or is it just
they
changed the PSI, didn't they?
Yeah, it's just happened again. Pirelli will have to investigate this, but Max Verstappen is out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and Sergio Perez has been gifted a lead. It just veered right and straight into the barriers. The Red Bull crew putting their hands in their head But I tell you what, this Azerbaijan Grand Prix has not disappointed at all. As Verstappen that's absolutely gutted. He slams the tempo barriers in frustration. Right, we're on the safety car with 3 laps to go. Safety car to go through the pit lane.
Reliability, consistency, always a factor. I mean, it has to be said, the best thing is that we are watching Max Verstappen climb out of the cockpit and walking away from that accident.
But the best thing is that Max Verstappen is walking away from the accident. But that's
I think he's running 14th or 15th, well out of the points. Did use that.
He's going to try and get back to the pits.
To wait for everybody to pass, but he's put on a soft tyre to the end. There's no point really because you can't get a fastest lap. A point if you're outside the top 10.
I don't think we will get to restart this race. I think we might get a 1-lap shootout, but otherwise, I fear it will finish under the safety car. I'm afraid.
He's not going to score that fastest lap. No, you're right.
Absolutely. That rule hasn't changed, has it? He's within the top 10. Yes, you do. In order to score.
And obviously, everyone else is going to be Hamilton radio.
It's difficult to say whether it's aware or damage issue.
That's the big question, Lewis. That is the big question.
And Lewis asking, is it tyre failure or not? Because
that is a 200-mile-an-hour crash for Max Verstappen.
It's a 200-mile-an-hour impact with the barriers.
That is also Red Bull's first 1-2 in many a long year, taken out
red flag
as well. And the red flag has now come out.
That's it. The race won't restart. Red flag. Oh, we're on that 48 of 51, but we got a red flag.
Now, they could, of course, restart.
We could restart it.
But for the moment, it's red flag.
But we've got a red flag. It doesn't mean it's over. Because there's 3 laps to go. If they red flagged it to recover Max Verstappen's car, and we could get. So they've decided to suspend the race, clean up the track, do a proper job. That is a very good call for race control. But we have a red flag here in Azerbaijan with 3 laps to go.
Well, if they did a countback, Max Verstappen would win the race because they would.
Been through the pits once.
Yeah,
oh.
So what happens if a race is red flagged and not restarted, then the finishing order at the end of the previous lap to when the red flag was thrown.
Okay, so if the race was decided not to be restarted, then we would go back on the investigation, Nicholas Latifi. So if the race was not to be restarted, then let's have a look at Max Verstappen again. So if the race was not restarted, it would go back to the last full lap, even if that was behind the safety car. And Verstappen again, it's just lost it.
Those speeds is absolutely crazy. I feel for Max,
but this Azerbaijan Grand Prix is insane.
The highs and lows of sport. Yeah.
And Hamilton asking, is he okay? But it just went in an instant. So right now, they will have the chance to change their tyres. We're going to get a 2-lap sprint. But just as they were starting to get the pit lane packed up, they are climbing.
So the order we have that's past me going in from the pit lane to stop at the end: Perez, Hamilton, Vettel in third.
Perez, Hamilton, Vettel. But will we do a safety car restart or a grid start? We might not restart this race, of course.
I think that might have been at the back of the race director Michael Massey's head. Is that look, if we do, it's a big if. We do have a problem here with these hard tyres or the hardest of the three. They're still quite soft, aren't they, Croppers, you can say,
Yeah.
in the Pirelli range. If we do a big if, then at least everybody will be able to change their time.
If we do get back, and that is a big if, because there's 2 laps to go.
Will change, you would imagine. Go on to the soft compound tyre,
So
which Sebastian Vettel, by the way, has a brand new set of soft compound tyres. Sergio Perez doesn't. Lewis Hamilton doesn't.
I'll be
in the top 3. I said don't discount out Sebastian Vettel for a podium here.
I mean,
didn't quite think it would be in this sort of a
Vettel could. Vettel's in P3, so if they stop the race now. Yeah.
It's exactly the same tyre that failed on Stroll. So I think it's a tyre.
So they're saying it's tyre issues. We're listening
his theories
to quickest one.
development program, and as you heard clearly say, we think it's a tyre failure, the same tyre that failed on last.
Glad to see, obviously, that both drivers are okay.
Brought out the first safety car in this race. Now another problem with the left rear. This time it's a yellow flag while they clear a huge amount of debris off that main straight. And Paul, if there is debris around the track, better to red flag the race, get it cleared properly,
I mean,
rather than risk.
I would say if there is debris around the track, it's better to red flag the race. Rather than not, but
What's better, finish under the safety car where the positions will stay exactly the same, or to red flag it and then give us.
they're changing Hamilton's front wing, are they?
From a fan's point of view, you want to see 2 laps of racing, but for Red Bull, you've got to try and digest what's just happened to Max, the championship leader, and then versus Checo, who's in the lead.
I mean, we've got to
win this race. They've got to stay razor sharp. The absolute need Perez.
And we've got to we've just got to sit tight and wait now. We would if it did happen, we would get a 10-minute warning for the restart. And we're just looking at Stroll's incident again on lap 31. There will be questions asked as to what it is, as why we've had these accidents this afternoon. Let's have a look at Verstappen's one again then. So Verstappen just goes, yeah.
The thing that could have really affected what's happened with Verstappen as well, which people will look into, is what happened during the safety car when Stroll had his issue. Because what happens then is the tires fall out the window, the pressure's dropped. That's when they.
I mean, what they could look at is, was there debris still on the track from the Stroll incident?
It would have been below.
Michael, I know you're busy. We got 0 warning of that failure. Nothing on a metric, not a vibration.
Yeah, Jonathan, so let me try and get this and then we'll have a look.
Our point is, consider a red flag the opportunity for everyone to change tyres.
Yeah, please, Jonathan.
So that is a radio message.
So that's a radio message from Red Bull to race control, saying consider a red flag and let everyone change tyres. That is exactly what they've done. I have to say, it's a fantastic call. I think it's the right call.
So we might want to red flag this because we don't want it happening again.
For Michael Massey.
Safety first. I think absolutely right, and that was very well done by Red Bull to say that. And I think
I think I agree. Safety first, definitely. And there's a bit of damage to Lewis Hamilton's front wing. That's why they're going to get a new one, but it's just being checked by the FIA to make sure it's identical.
That normally leads to a puncture, slow puncture or otherwise. And we are talking absolute fractions of a second.
I mean, I'd say if it was debris, that normally leads to a slow puncture, doesn't it? I think they'd see that there's a puncture. I have to say, I'm supporting that it's a Pirelli tyre failure here.
Leads me to think that's more failure than they.
I mean, I'm no expert, but I would say that is a tyre failure, definitely.
very similar stages on the straight as well when it's absolutely peak load, purely because it's just done that nice twisty section of turn 17, 18 onto the straight, and of course the car's at maximum load. But
and obviously safety first, definitely.
Absolutely, but would have harder contact.
So we've had no indication as to what is happening with the race restarting yet. We're on that 49 and 51, so they restart it. The time they get round, it will be a 2-lap shootout. Maybe, maybe a 2-lap shootout, I'd say. So it is a time to regroup, and they are taking quite a long time.
It's already been told by the Mercedes team that they will restart the race. So I'm expecting to restart it because
we've just been told that the Mercedes are expecting the race to be restarted.
No reason why not to. That is absolutely right. And the race leader, Sergio Perez, just passed me in the gap. He's left his car to his mechanics. He's with his engineer, Hugh, and they're just going back to the Red Bull garage to talk about, well, where they go from here. Where do they go from here? Well, they're going to have a very, very motivated Lewis Hamilton behind him, straight behind him, with a toe on a restart. Whether we're going to have the standing start. Yes,
just before we get to restart, standing starts, etc., I've just noticed that Lewis Hamilton's front wing, that they seem to have changed. I think there was damage to Lewis Hamilton's front wing.
Just been having some damage to Lewis's front wing.
Damaged parts on the car. As long as you change a light for light, you won't get any penalty. Yes.
Yes, and you can change tyres as well. Which is the whole point of Jonathan Wheatley's helpful suggestions to the race director Michael Massey. But okay. So no, I was just thinking about Checo as he passed me to his engineer. I was thinking,
let's have a look at George Russell.
Stay out. Put a pit lane, but no pit stop. Put a pit lane, but no pit stop.
Car 6, the TV is under investigation.
Sorry.
For not using the pit lane exit when he should have done.
Stay out. Oh dear. So
and he didn't stay out.
Yes.
It will be. We
had to come through
win as a team. We very much take penalties as a team. But in any case, so Perez, we'll see where he is with Hamilton on the restart.
But yeah, I'm not surprised they've red flagged it.
I'll just take an opportunity to take a comfort break, George Russell as well, and we'll see where they go from there. Where is George Russell at the moment? 15. Yes. 15, just behind Valtteri Bottas. That's my
check whether they have changed that front wing at Mercedes. I would imagine that they have.
They're too far away from me, probably, and I'm pinned into my place. So I will inquire.
If you know the phone numbers of everyone, get to a call now.
I mean, I'm not surprised they've red flagged it because those crashes looked horrible.
So I would imagine where it's got a hole in it, and I wonder if that's the avoiding action that Leclerc took, that Hamilton stayed on the track.
I mean, there's still quite a lot of debris on the track.
We think it's a branch of the tree.
Yes.
But it pierced the front wing.
It's certainly possible.
Was it a branch of the tree that pierced Hamilton's front wing?
Might explain why he's struggled to have
the Tiffy's still under investigation.
Where those on the balconies are going to watch for a while to see if the cars are going to come back their way again. But I'm pretty certain that this race will be restarted.
I'm pretty sure that they will restart it.
Stroll, and as you can see, they've wrapped the red plastic around that.
At some point, they've wrapped the red plastic round the Lance Stroll and
big crash. We've had 2 crashes on that main straight.
I mean, you can see the tread on that tyre looks okay, Crofty. So you can see it's been instant. So that tells me it's absolutely a Pirelli issue.
I mean, the tread on the tyre is fine. Looking at Stroll's tyre, so that is telling me that's I'm not professional at this, but that is indicating to me that is a Pirelli tyre failure. And for it to go that quickly as well, for it to happen to 2 people, and obviously that Lewis could win this now.
After this race, we have 3 laps. Well, we're about to start lap 49 and 51. So we have one behind the safety car, and then 50 and 51. So 2 laps of racing, and then you can see a great view there of the tyre and how it's come away from the side.
But yeah, we're just waiting. I'll try and do my best to keep you entertained. McLaren radio now.
So ball, for instance, safety cars. So no, they did not slow down. So a surprise hasn't been investigated.
Quite simply, for me, the entire field should be penalised for not slowing for double yellows the way in accordance with the regulations.
But his is obvious, Michael. He hasn't lifted whatsoever.
Well, for me, all of them are obvious. So lifting a little bit for me is not enough. I'm going to tell all drivers accordingly that it's speed.
Okay, understood. Well, I'm loving the insight that we're getting.
I'm loving the insight that we get between race control and the pit wall. Just having to listen to what the McLaren guys were saying, saying that Yuki Tsunoda didn't slow down when the safety car was deployed or for the double wave yellows, but Michael Massey saying he didn't see anything. So Red Bull's Jonathan Wheatley, Autosport is saying Red Bull's Jonathan Wheatley to Michael Massey over, Michael, I know you're busy, but we had zero warning of that. Yeah, they did. I mean, if he didn't respect double wave yellows, then to all Mercedes fans, goodbye. I've had a long thing. Oh, it's just one of those joke things. But like about this race weekend, pole for Leclerc, win for Perez, podium for Vettel. Dislike Max crashed after being P1 almost a whole race, and he now isn't leading the World Championship anymore. Well, you say he isn't leading the World Championship anymore, but it looks like at some point we are going to get the 2 laps in. We're still waiting. We're still under a red flag, but everything looks clear. So, I'm just throwing it up. Is there a loose drain cover somewhere along the straight that we haven't noticed? I mean, they're all the drivers are on the pit wall now, looking at the straight. So, I mean, Valtteri Bottas, most of the drives are at the car. Sebastian Vettel has chosen to stay in it.
It's just a few laps away now from his second victory in Formula 1.
Right, Perez is coming back out.
Not heard much from Sergio Perez, but as you say, he's put a shift
once more.
Keeping Lewis Hamilton at bay.
And we haven't heard much from Perez, but he has put a shift in and keeping Sergio Perez from at bay, and
of course his first podium since he came third in Turkey last year, and he's the only
the fans are all on the Mercedes because it looks like it might be overheating slightly.
C5 soft compound tyres for the restart, so he could get very racy indeed if and when we get laps of racing.
Yes, I'm not sure it would make enough of a difference for him to go through, but definitely you'd rather have it than not have it. Perez is the one.
We are still under the red flag here, and there's smoke
very good first lap.
Coming from the Mercedes. I hope we get another shot of that. I don't know if it's the fans.
Himself in that position, and I think Red Bull, more importantly, just needs him to finish there.
Yeah.
Damage limitation at this point, absolutely.
Three drivers we've lost in this race: Verstappen and Stroll with tyre failures. Esteban Ocon with a suspected engine failure very early on in this race. But if you're Michael Massey, what are your options here, Paul, for the restarts? You want to restart behind the safety car? Have a standing start on the grid?
I don't think it matters. It's going to be madness, absolutely madness. Because it always is. It always is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the second red flag we've had in Baku history. It also happened in 2017.
I would think if I was Red Bull, I'd be pushing for a safety car restart. But the rules are, he can decide what he wants to do.
I mean, I think if you're Red Bull, you'll be pushing for a safety car restart. But Michael Massey's the race director. He has the control over what happens. We get the 10-minute warning. hopefully soon.
In the sky, but the track's bone dry.
I mean, the sun's looking to set.
To have a rolling start, but
I mean,
it is in the discretion of the race director.
We could go for a rolling start to be on the safe side.
The debris from Stroll and from Verstappen, because the car, I would think back by now, I did see 4 sweepers because it is about 4 lanes wide.
Yeah.
As you come down that straight,
Oh,
just in the back of shot.
I don't understand why we haven't got the 10-minute warning yet.
Tower, something heard about when I walked up there a few years ago.
Stairs apparently.
No, lift. When that thing was built, the only thing to get you up or down mainly in a hurry was gravity, quite frankly. No,
but yeah, we're still no racing in Baku at the moment. We wait. That 49, a 51.
On the shores of the Caspian Sea, so it's starting to set just a little bit.
The sun's starting to set, so we're gonna have to. I can hear cars being fired back up again. But we just.
Martin Brundle TM phrase on this, like he's got a dental appointment on a black month for Sundays.
Martin, send us a message, Martin. We'll relay it.
I'm looking at it like that. But you know what I mean? I gestured him over to where I'm not allowed to cross this red line to come and have a word and tell me what he knows. And he wouldn't. He shook his head. I'm still furious. Okay, now the man from Ready.
2 seconds. Just before you do that, the race will be resumed at 6:10 local time. So
Okay, so the race will be resumed at 3:10 local time.
Potential target, or my next target, whether I'll get him or not, I can't say. He's busy talking to his executive engineer, his top engineer. They're going around each team, taking measurements from them, getting opinions, having a look.
So the race to restart, there we go, confirmation. The race to restart.
Of course, it's easy to say, okay, well, it looks like at the moment.
At 6:10 local time. So that's 3:10 UK time, and then we should be good to go. So the race will be restarted then. So we would go round behind the safety car, and then it is up to the race director, Michael Massey, whether we do a standing start or whether we do the rolling start. In Imola, because it was wet, we decided to roll it. They decided the rolling start. However, at Red Flags last year, they have decided the standing start is the best option. But with the tyre failures that we've had, I would think that they would make the teams change their tyres in the pit stops in the red flag window now, which is ending in about 13 minutes time. We'll be getting back on the way under the safety car then. So Verstappen, so it's Perez from Hamilton, from Vettel, from Gasly, from Leclerc, from Tsunoda, from Norris, from Sainz, from Ricciardo, from Alonso, from Raikkonen, from Giovinazzi, from Latifi, from Bottas, from Russell, from Schumacher, from Mazepin. Then it's Verstappen, Stroll, and Ocon are all out of this race. Stroll crashed on lap 31. He had a tyre failure. That brought out the safety car. And then Verstappen crashed around lap 48. Tyre failure again. That brought out the safety car, then the red flags, which we remain under at the moment. But that is going to be ending in about 12 minutes' time then. And Yuki Tsunoda, his last 5 races, only scored 1 point. So obviously he didn't finish in... he's only had 1 point scoring finish. So he obviously didn't finish. Spain, he broke down, and that was the end of it. That was the end of it. Right, the drivers are getting back in the cars. We've had a slight delay here then. But yeah, Hamilton lost 2.5 seconds at his pit stop from an unsafe, well, not for an unsafe release, but if they had released him, it would have certainly been an unsafe release, and he'd have received a 5-second penalty as we listen to Toto Wolff talking to one of the Pirelli engineers.
Responsible for Pirelli operations here at trackside. I'm sure a very serious conversation going on between the two gentlemen there.
So Vettel is on a new set of soft tyres. I wouldn't rule Vettel out from winning this race. I really wouldn't. But if Hamilton finishes this race, he will take the championship lead. This Formula One season has had another epic twist to the towel here this afternoon.
Resumption in 10 minutes.
Resumption in 10 minutes 38 seconds now. We will get back underway. And then Paul Di Resta will be asking the questions.
I shall be listening to you as I'm running across there at the end of the Grand Prix property, just to make sure I don't miss anything. It's a short dash, a very short dash.
Yeah.
Like you say,
we're trying to get Silverstone sprint qualifying.
We're trying at Silverstone.
Race.
Sprint qualifying. This is the shortest sprint race that I think we could ever possibly get.
all the preparation you've got for qualifying overnight, over breakfast.
I mean,
the engineering briefing.
Michael Massey's running.
See Michael Massey running back to his office. I think he's up and down independently. I was going to see
running back to his office. He was obviously looking. Obviously looking at the track, observing it, and then made the decision to restart in 10 minutes. Someone said, as Joel's hard tyres gave up after 30 laps, it was 100% obvious someone will blow up. There should have been a red flag to change tyres way before the match on. I don't know. We couldn't predict, could we? We didn't actually know at that time with the Lance incident as to what happened. Right, looks like Mercedes are changing their tyres. I think everyone will be obliged to change their tyres by race control.
For a gearbox, for instance, I know you've got the extra pack gearboxes that you used to have. This 70 gear changes a lap. There's a lot of inputs that need to be made by these drivers. Then you have to.
Then the race will be getting underway in about 9 minutes.
Build yourself back up.
Hold your breath, because it is going to be a hell of a ride for the final few moments. Then.
It should phase them. Absolutely shouldn't phase them. And it will sort the men out from the boys.
Gasly, of course, who famously won after a red flag restart at Monza last season.
Here we go.
He made a very good restart. He's in touching distance here at fourth, let me tell you. So, as I said, we've lost 3 drivers from this race, Ocon, Verstappen, and Lance Stroll. We can hear from him now.
Let's hear from Lance Stroll, actually, just now.
Firstly, I just want to ask if you're okay. That was very scary.
Yeah, I'm okay.
We're just looking back at the pictures now, whether or not some debris went underneath the tyre or not. Have you got any idea what happened?
No, we have to look into it. I don't know exactly what happened.
I can understand you're probably pretty shaken up right now. How was the rest of the race up until that point for you, though? You were going long on those tyres.
Yeah, it was going quite good. We were overturning the field. I think good opportunity for something big today, so it's a shame.
Okay, just glad to see you're all right. Thanks.
Recorded while we were racing a little earlier. Lance Stroll talking to Rachel Brooks.
As we look back at some of the race highlights in this break that we slightly have, Leclerc got overtaken by Verstappen, who is unfortunately no longer in this race.
As you can see, Hamilton down in front and Max Verstappen behind it. Then came the pit stop phase that I was talking about.
Then the pit stop, Hamilton got held up by Gasly, didn't he? He had to wait. Yeah, he just had to wait. Done well not to actually go then. And Red Bull again changing their tyres. Then Verstappen came out comfortably in the lead. And that looked job done, didn't it? As Hamilton was coming through turn 1. Hamilton then got separated from Verstappen through Perez. He couldn't overtake, but he's been handed with a gift if he can take it and get to the end of this race as Lewis Hamilton.
Making adjustments on the steering wheel, and then suddenly left rear tyre.
And his left rear tyre just went for Lance Stroll. That put him in the barriers. Lucky it didn't go over and go too far out into the middle of the track, because there was Gasly coming up behind him. And now Max Verstappen, that was literally about 10 laps later, 15 laps later. that brought out the safety car, then eventually the red flag.
Just flashed up the screen. It will be a standing start cross.
And it will be a standing start. So it will be a light start here in Baku. In 2 hours and 2 minutes ago, when this race started, we're gonna get a standing start. It's literally just come up on my FIA screen right now from Michael Massey that it will be a standing start. It's Verstappen passing his medical centre check. That's great to see. He's leaving the paddock and he's walking out.
We have just over 5 minutes.
So just over 5 minutes to go. So we do a lap behind the safety car. We then get the green flag at the back. We get 5 red lights in Baku. And then it'll be about a 2-lap sprint to the end. Hamilton Radio. Hamilton being told it's a standing start. So just confirmation there. It is a standing start. Oh.
George Russell was sat on the Aston Martin pit wall. It's taking a bit of time because that's where he parked his Williams.
What will happen in the next? What is it probably going to be? 7-8 minutes. It isn't going to be long. Mercedes put out. Race will start in 10 minutes, and it will be a standing start.
Spoke to Martin Budkowski, the boss of the Alpine team. He said, "Look, it can only be. Oh, has Latifi got a penalty?
Latifi in position 15 is what we're being told
to go back."
And
so he obviously, by not going through the pits,
Latifi's been told to go back to P15.
Decision on that unfortunate team message that told him to put it into the hot water with the
is that because he
It can only be a structural failure, in which case Pirelli, are in. I've got a lot of questions to answer, a lot of work to do with these beefed up tyres for this year, or it can only be otherwise some bit of debris that has cut.
I mean, it can only be a Pirelli tyre failure or some bits of debris. A Pirelli tyre failure at the moment would seem more like it.
They're saying, look, the drivers have a delta, and that's worked out by the FIA Common Electronic Control Unit. So all they're doing is following the delta. If that allows them to speed in certain circumstances, because it's like an average speed check, isn't it? Like on a motorway. Then you're going to get that. They're only going to do what they're allowed to do by following their delta.
Effectively, what they're saying with Yuki Tsunoda, because the yellow flag was came out whilst he was passing that area, as long as he stuck to his delta time, he can get away with it. That's a rule that's been changed for this year, I think. As
they should do enough to be prepared to stop.
Was it not on where he said that it was the safety car called?
I think it was before that. I think it was before, just as the safety car was being called.
Hamilton Radio.
Absolutely agree with.
And that's Lewis Hamilton is talking about the championship and the season as a whole, not the 2 laps of racing that we're going to get. That is a sprint, but he's in a position where...
I mean, Hamilton's saying he's got to think about the championship. He's not going to go for the move on Perez.
The nearest championship rival is scoring no points today. It's not going to be as big a blow to Hamilton as you might think.
At the last restart, he was already playing that game. He could have been more aggressive with Perez, and Perez had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So if Red Bull will be telling Perez that, if I was Aston Martin, I'd be telling Sebastian Vettel he's playing that game as well. And Vettel could get himself well in there.
Vettel could potentially win this race, couldn't it?
Vettel is the one to watch at this restart. And I'll repeat what I said a few moments ago. He's the only one in the top 8 on a brand new set of soft...
I mean, they've all been obliged to change their tyres, or they've all been allowed to change their tyres, but Sebastian Vettel is the only one... Sebastian Vettel is the only one that will start on a new set of softs. Hamilton's got a new set of hards. I think Perez has got a new set of mediums. The standing start is all going to be about who can get that better start then as the tyre blankets begin to come off, and the safety car will lead us around, and there'll be time to go once more.
where they go with the fingers and where they drop it to get some launch. It's just whether it happens for the second time.
So, a 10-second stop-go penalty is handed to Nicholas.
And Nicholas Latifi has been handed a 10-second stop-go penalty, which means he would have to drive through the pit lane and stop for 10 seconds and then drive out again. So he's only going to have one time to do that. That has rather wrecked Nicholas Latifi's race. Right, here we go then. Bottas radio. 20 seconds to go, and we will go on the safety car then. Race control, 10 seconds stop-go penalty for, after race resumption. And so he has to serve it after the race has resumed. There's only going to be 2 laps of racing then. As the clock ticks, 6:10 local time, we are back go under the safety car then. And Sergio Perez will lead it. So we'll go under the safety car. We go round to the grid, and then the safety car will come in. We will line up on the grid. We will get the green flag on the back, hopefully. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, Baku once more, and then we will be going for 2 laps. A 2-lap sprint then.
Sebastian Vettel has that available too. A nice shiny set of new Pirelli soft tyres. Pierre Gasly behind him, and we've seen cope very well with restarts in the past.
Here we go.
Of course, at Monza last year, and Charles Leclerc. Can he make amends for what has been a struggle in the race after pole position?
For the Leclerc that's had a struggle in the race, can he make amends? There can be absolute carnage in these 2 laps at Baku. Can Vettel in the Aston Martin still win the race? Hamilton just saying it's a marathon, not a sprint. He's going to just want to be careful, isn't he? Vettel's got 41% of the drive of the day vote. Perez has got second in 18%, and Verstappen's third in 9%, who unfortunately is out of this race. Standing start in confirmation, and the LEDs is flashing standing start. Yeah, that's right. Here we go then, as they come into turn 15 behind the safety car.
Dramatic, this isn't it, Paul?
What did you say about energy, Croft? Have you got enough left?
I have more than enough energy.
I'm trying to say I've got more than enough energy there, thank you, to blast out. I try not to shout, but I think we might get a bit shouty. We've had 2 safety cars, 1 red flag, and we're going to have a 2-lap sprint. Whatever happens in these 2 laps, it is going to be a Baku, Azerbaijan Grand Prix that we are not going to forget for a long, long time then. Is the Silverstone-based team of Aston Martin going to finish on the podium, or can they challenge for the race win? The safety car lights go out, and Perez is putting into the position then, the pole position. But for Checo Perez, can Vettel in third challenge? Will Hamilton be cautious in second? Here we go then, as they pull Perez really backing them up then. And they're putting into their grid positions once more. When I said this just about 2 hours and 13 minutes ago, I didn't think I'd be saying it again. Here they go then. So George Russell coming in.
That's a very good point. If you're on the right-hand side, as you look at the grid at the moment,
Russell's coming in.
Where is that Williams going? that we might actually hear there. George Russell.
The front brakes are smoking. Right, here we go then. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights again in Baku, and it's go, go, go. Who gets the best start? So Hamilton, Hamilton's going to go down the inside. He locks up and he goes straight on. Hamilton goes straight on. Hamilton's gone straight on. Hamilton's all the way in the back. Hamilton was second and he's last. And he's now pile up. No. We've lost the championship leader with the crash. We've lost Lewis Hamilton already. He's gone off at turn 1, and always that Yuki Tsunoda trying to go around the outside. And pit lane entry's been closed. And Hamilton's blown it. He's going to score no points. It's that Yuki. Who's that Yuki Tsunoda? Trying into the castle. They can't quite do it. Vettel's up to second. Gasly's up to third. Hamilton's all the way down in 16th and scoring nothing. Mercedes have had an absolute disaster this afternoon. Hamilton saying he's so sorry. Oh my word, have you just what have we just seen? And Pierre Gasly's going to have shot. And Leclerc goes back into the podium positions. But Gasly's going to try the inside. Gasly's back up to third. And Gasly's going to still go down. Gasly still keeps it. Leclerc's still 4. But Lewis Hamilton's 54 point scoring finishes in a row are set to come to an end. They're still fighting. Lando Norris could get a podium here as well. Gasly cuts him off. And is that Norris going to go to the outside? Norris is going to go to the outside of Leclerc. He can't quite do it. And Perez has got this under control.
That Hamilton mistake, though, so costly. He's going to be kicking into a rare mistake.
54 race starts, 54 point scoring finishes. He's going to come to an end for Lewis Hamilton. He locked up. He went a bit too brave into the first corner. Did he have way too much front end? But Sergio Perez is coming round. Turn 16. Hamilton had the chance to take the championship lead this afternoon because Verstappen crashed out. He didn't do it. Perez is going to reignite his championship fight this afternoon. He comes over the line now to take the checkered flag. He rises over the bump, take the checkered flag, and he wins in Baku. Sebastian Vettel gets second. Pierre Gasly gets third for AlphaTauri. Charles Leclerc is 4th. And is there going to be a sprint to the line? No. Pierre Gasly and it's Aston Martin's first podium in Formula 1. And wow, what a final couple of laps. And it's the Aston. Oh my word, no, what just happened? No, tweet Mercedes.
Well done. Thank you for finishing that off for us. Great job.
This is for you guys. Stop the car, stop the car, stop the car, stop the panic, sir.
How close was Sergio Perez to not finishing this race?
And what happened to Sergio Perez? He stopped. How close was he to not finishing this race? It doesn't matter anymore. Sergio Perez is a Red Bull race winner. Lewis Hamilton finished all the way down in 15th. And Sebastian Vettel comes home in second. for Aston Martin's best Formula One finish in an Azerbaijan Grand Prix that we will never ever forget. That is for sure. It was full of entertainment.
How much longer would that Red Bull have lasted? You say they needed a bit of luck. They've only got about 300 meters of luck there.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, and I'm very sorry for Max. But, yeah, well done. Enjoy your moment out there with the air. Good to see you out there. Proud of you.
That was epic, Checo. That was epic.
That's 3 drivers who have been on the podium so far this season, all making the podium here today.
3 drivers who haven't been on the podium so far this season, all making the podium today. The Frenchman of Pierre Gasly, the German of Sebastian Vettel, and the Mexican of Sergio Perez.
He had an amazing inlet before that restart. Set purple sectors before coming in. He would have been potentially in the lead of that race after. He was such a good inlet. And it was unfair in many ways. He had such a slow stop.
Yes, mate. Well done. Yes. Great job. Hey. That's a podium, man. That's a wrap. Thank you. That was amazing today.
He was in the zone. It was brilliant.
And Hamilton had the chance to take the championship lead, and he failed to take it. Pretty much, he went straight on at turn 1. Aston Martin have their first ever podium in an Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That has been absolutely unbelievable. It's been full of crashes, full of excitement, and
he doesn't score a point for that. Let's finish the rundown here. Behind Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris.
After Charles Leclerc came Lando Norris. Verstappen, out of nowhere, stays in the lead of this title race. And Verstappen's race has just got a lot better. And Sergio Perez takes his second win in Formula One. Chaos in Baku. I mean, that was unbelievable. 3 hours that we thoroughly enjoyed. It was an absolute banger.
Coverage will continue, of course, on Sky Sports Formula 1 as Sebastian Vettel, all in green, jumps into the arms.
As Sebastian Vettel jumps all in green into the arms of his Aston Martin mechanics.
After his car broke down at the end of the race, a crazy race it has been. Farewell to our viewers on Sky Sports main events. Coverage continues on Sky Sports F1. And this celebration could continue long on the plane coming home tonight. Jessica Hawkins, W Series driver.
It's going to be.
Ambassador for Aston Martin racing.
It was an absolute banger, wasn't it?
What a great performance from him too.
I think bizarrely, the team that won the race isn't the happiest team in these celebrations.
I think bizarrely, I don't know I've ever seen this before, but the team that has won the race, I don't think it's the most happiest team. I think Aston Martin might just be the most happiest team.
69 points ahead of Lando Norris, 66, Charles Leclerc 52 in the Constructors' Championship. This is where it has
An incredible day of racing, and you could not write it.
Quite a big advantage. 174 points for Red Bull, 148 points for Mercedes. Valtteri Bottas didn't score. Lewis Hamilton didn't score. The Constructors' Champions will go away from Baku thinking, well, I'm going to go back to a street circuit for a while.
But this is a race. It's a day where you need to score lots of points because anything can happen. And both of the main protagonists in the championship didn't score points.
Most of the main protagonists in the championships didn't score points.
He's going to be kicking it out. He didn't have the car this weekend, but he got the best out of it. He was going to be on the podium.
He was going to be on the podium.
The tyres, the way that car was working, the tyres, as Perez was as well, they didn't suffer the failures when they went long on those hard tyres. It was a day of survival.
It's a day of survival, wasn't it? In an F1, what we've just seen is Formula One at its very best.
It's just we eradicate this race in the championship and feel good for these guys today.
No one's lost out of this. No one's won out of it. The championship lead remains at 4 points.
Very happy man, as you would expect. But Hamilton saying it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, but just knock that off. Yeah, you did. Let's go. Gotcha.
As well, they'll be looking back at that. They'll be looking
So
back
what's
at
the
that.
magic in this context?
Hamilton radio is just.
He lost it.
He sounds like he's almost in tears, but.
It will come out. It'll come out. I think it's the team to reveal. But
is it fair to say that if the magic result that would affect your brake balance, brake bias, or
it wasn't a single driver. It wasn't basically. All I say is it wasn't a single driver braking too late into the corner.
Part technical.
It's part technical.
Was it? They're saying it's not Hamilton's fault.
You know, it's part of a racing driver's arm. You need to be in the right position. Nico Rosberg started Barcelona.
Mercedes say it's a car failure.
2016.
That was his driver error. So
Head down to you.
Yeah, Anthony's, of course, Mercedes similar drugs, so I can't say, but I can say brake magic is a lever that drivers use to warm up the brakes under a safety car to get heat into the tyres, to get the tyres to be nice and hot for the restart. And that's what Mercedes call the brake magic. And it does all sorts of things to the brakes. You wouldn't want it ready for a restart. I know you can't correct me if I'm awfully wrong, Anthony, but
we're going to hear now from Pierre Gasly.
Gasly. Another podium. I mean, I can see what it means to you. Outstanding. How does it feel?
Incredible. Honestly, I don't really know what to say. It was such an insane race, and super intense last 2 laps. The car has been incredible all weekend, and we showed every session we were there. Qualifying was mega. I didn't know if we could keep up that position or fight for even a podium, and in the end we did it. So I finished already 1 first, 1 second, and I missed that 3rd place. So that feels incredible to get that podium.
And I'm going to say the man up piece, but what a battle you had. We're just sitting in the background between Charles Leclerc and the last lap we just started it. He passed you, you passed him back, and got your muscles out.
Now we had to get the elbows out. It was a very difficult race from mid-race onwards with an engine issue. So we're losing quite a lot of power down the straights, and Seb managed to pass us in the middle of the race. I know that these last 2 laps were going to be very difficult with Charles behind, and I tried it. Every braking, I wasn't sure if I was going to stop the car, but I had to go for it. I really wanted that podium, and it just feels incredible after such a good weekend.
And the team looked pretty happy as well. With nice celebrations tonight.
Sorry?
You have some nice celebrations tonight with the team.
Yeah, exactly. Some really good points, and I'm very happy Yuki did a good race as well. So, all in all, fantastic job, and hopefully we can celebrate all together tonight.
Congratulations. Sebastian, something's clicked the last 2 races. P2, first Aston Martin podium since I've come back to Formula One. What does this mean for the team?
I think it means a great deal. Obviously, it's been a tough start for us, and I think it was a great race. We had good pace. That was the key. Obviously, I had a good start, made some positions straight away, then looked after my tires as soon as everybody went to the pits. I had really good pace to overcut, I think, Yuki at least, and then obviously the restart worked brilliantly for me. Got another 2 positions there, and we obviously had fresher tires, which I guess helped warming up the tires later on. So great day. I mean, I'm over the moon. I think that for the team it is great. Obviously a podium. We didn't expect that when we came here, but already on Friday, even though we were nowhere, it felt good. I was quite relaxed, and yesterday we didn't quite get it, but today even sweeter.
I want to talk about yesterday because you had a brand new set of soft tyres for that small dash. I know it was important to go to Q3, but the progression was absolutely key to getting to the end of the race on that high set. You can't hear me. Too much noise going on.
But I think strategy-wise, obviously it would have been it's always better to start further up. But the new tyre for sure didn't hurt because other people had a couple of laps on from qualifying, so it helped us to go longer. But we really preserved the tyres well, and I think that was the secret, plus the pace that we had. I think in the race, as I said, the car felt good, and it was the key to keep progressing and chipping forward.
Nice one. Enjoyed it, Sebastian. coming forward, another race winner this year. Checo, another race win with Red Bull. I mean, what a mad race that was.
Yeah, man, so happy for today. You know, the race, normally Baku is pretty crazy. First of all, I have to say I'm very sorry for Max because he did a tremendous race and he really deserved the win. It would have been incredible, you know, to get that 1-2 for the team. But at the end, you know, it is a fantastic day for us. We were close to to retire the car, but luckily we managed to finish the race. And it was quite difficult all the way to the end.
I mean, you had a 7-time world champion pushing you all the way through the stints, and then when it came down to the restart, tell me what you were thinking when you lined up there for that restart, what you were going to do.
He had very good, strong pace throughout the race, you know. I think we had a bit of a slow stop as well, so the overcut came a bit closer to him, and he just pushed me from lap onwards. You know, I had the pressure on him from him pretty much in the beginning, and and then at the start, I had a poor start, so he was alongside me, but I was like, I'm not going to miss it. You know, I broke as late as I possibly can, and he did the same, but it didn't work for him. At least it's a good day for the team.
And as Checo clips with this Red Bull car now, can you go confident to the next race? You're going to be in the same performance?
This is definitely a strong boost of confidence for myself and for the team.
Well done, Checo. Enjoy it.
Well, to finish first you have to finish. Sadly for Max Verstappen.
To finish first, that's what you have to finish, isn't it, to win the race? I have a feeling I've lost terribly in my F1 fantasy this week. That's what I'm kind of wondering. Actually, you just need to check how many points I might have in F1 fantasy.
The disappointment on the Monday. Let's look at the restarts.
Let's look at the restart then. So Hamilton just doesn't stop.
This was the restart.
The restart that effectively is.
Perez knew exactly where to brake. He must have thought, you can't brake as late as that, but he tries to push him over, but there's nothing he can do. I bet he couldn't believe his luck as he saw the Mercedes sail straight up. It's looking in the mirror on the exit.
I bet
the team very happy.
I bet Perez couldn't believe his luck when he saw Lewis Hamilton go straight on. Let's have a look. Oh, there's a connection there.
That's how Kimi Räikkönen managed to scoot through past his teammate. Räikkönen scoring his first points of the season so far.
And this was great. This was the battle. These guys were at it. Leclerc, the young guns, Gasly
it was
on the inside, perfectly judged.
A brilliant on-track battle, wasn't it?
No easy task. And to judge it perfectly, but yeah, Perez, it was his day.
Well, it certainly was. Look at the celebrations. Aston Martin crew next to the Red Bull.
I actually got more points than all my rivals, so I'm super happy with my
meters
fantasy.
later, Sergio Perez stopped by the side of the track and has revealed to Paul di Resta, we nearly had to retire that car. I mean,
I wonder. And when I was listening to the radio, actually, he's so relieved at the end.
Yeah, did he? Was it close to getting retiring that car? Was it on its last legs?
But listen to the team radio, they were telling him to fail this sensor, that sensor. I thought, what's going on here? But they're quite calm.
And they were telling him to foul loads of sensors, according to some people on the team radio.
So Max Verstappen back from the medical centre to cheer his teammate who did
so Max Verstappen back from the medical centre, looking a lot happier now.
This is the risk they were all on those older hard tyres, and they'd seen what had happened to Stroll. They knew it wasn't debris, and they knew they were running that risk too. But
Right, here we go then.
they had to.
It's Pierre Gasly stepping out onto the podium in third position. He was just as delighted as he did as when he won in Monza. Well, slightly not as much, but as Sebastian Vettel comes on, he walks up to second, and then the constructor for Red Bull and Sergio Perez walks out for the second time as a first place winner. Sorry, the second time he's won a Formula One Grand Prix, and we will now hear the Mexican and the British national anthems. national anthems there. So it's national anthem of Austria, not national anthem of Great Britain. The national anthem's ringing around Baku this afternoon. And Sergio Perez picks up the magnificent trophy. And whoa, hey, there we go. Here, and now the Red Bull mechanic.
Picks up the constructors' trophy for this afternoon.
And now Sebastian Vettel, who picks up that second place trophy. Here he goes. There we go. The Aston Martin crew delighted, and so they should be as well. And so is Pierre Gasly. The mask is off, and now let the celebrations begin, because it's the champagne. An Azerbaijan Grand Prix that we will never ever forget. May we race in Baku every week if we can get one of them every single time. That was unbelievable. The streets of Baku never fail to disappoint. Now, this is the bit you have to listen for, because for the French Grand Prix, you have to go to Charlie's channel, because I'm going to be busy. I will watch the race though, but I'm going to be busy. So you have to go to Charlie's channel. But we will see you in 2 weeks' time in France when Formula One returns.